1990s and all across college baseball is now just a less than a month out as we're about to begin the ball game here. Good crowd on hand here at Sunken Diamond, and even we have the 1990 Stanford Cardinal baseball team in attendance as they came out for the ceremonial first pitch to open up the ball game warm with a great welcome from the Stanford faithful.
Yeah, 59 wins in 1990, Philip, the most wins in Stanford baseball history. And there have been a lot of great baseball teams in Stanford history. 19 all-time College World Series appearances for Stanford.
2:07 the first pitch. So Heron lures the second pitch high to Chase Williams. Count at 2-0. Chase Williams extended his hit streak to 11 games last night with a 2 RBI double. There's strike one in with the fastball from O'Haron.
Boy, just caught the top of the zone, and I want to say the black part of the inside corner. Chase Williams not exactly in agreement with that, but does not disagree vociferously.
Yeah, for the whole game, he went 1 for 5 with a run scored. Swing and a miss.
O'Haron pulled a string on that one. Breaking ball had Williams way ahead and out on the front foot with that swing.
Our umpires for today behind home plate, David Bailey calling balls and strikes, Eric Gaucher at first base, Luis Hernandez at second base, and Brandon Cooper over at third. The 2-2. Hard on the ground, but foul. Just to the left of Rentaro Sasaki.
No secret what the Seminole strategy is. Chase Williams, terrific on the base pass. 18 steals a year ago. Philip, 14 of 17 this year. He's a threat to run if he gets to first.
That's for sure. And even John Stutzer, who didn't play last night, is also a base stealing threat, batting 7th with 11, just second behind Williams.
Those are the two guys that run.
Stanford able to get back to 500 overall with the win to open up the series. It's about, I guess you could say 20 hours ago.
Williams fouls back. He's battling up there. Showing that grit that I think the Seminoles want to employ today. Don't be swinging too soon. Kind of wait for the pitch that you want. The Stanford staff does not have blow you away stuff.
O'Haron trying to look for the punch out. The 2-2. Got him with the heat. That is how we begin the ball game. Chase Williams down with the K.
Fastball up in the zone that time. You know, many a left-handed hitter, Philip, as you know, likes the ball down. So many left-handed hitters are so adept at that, at the belt and below. That pitch was just below the letters, and it was too quick for Chase Williams.
Give you the defensive alignment for Stanford. Left field, Teddy Tilkheim. Court McDonald back in center field. Brady Reynolds in right. Charlie Bates at short. J.J. Moran at third base. Eric Gion is at second base. Rentaro Sasaki playing first. And Luke Lavin behind the dish in the squat at catcher. Here's Brody De La Melier. De La Melier went 2 for 4 with 2 doubles in yesterday's game. The 1-1 from O'Haron runs in. Swing and a miss by De La Melier.
Yeah, he's using breaking stuff against De La Melier and has gotten the 2 strikes via that pitch.
Trying to see if he could put him down with a K. Ooh, doesn't get the call there. Just a little bit off the plate to David Bailey's liking.
That was a cut fastball that time, and O'Haron did a little pirouette at the mound as if to communicate to the umpire, wasn't that one across the outside corner?
2-2, chopped over to third. Moran runs in and gets the throw to first in time.
Philip, that's what they call a do-or-die play. As De La Melier chopped it, it rolled past the mound, but was not going to get to the dirt, and moving quickly to his left, Moran came up, scooped barehanded. He had to barehand, no time for the glove and exchange. barehanded it cleanly and rifled a strike to Sasaki at first to get to Lamalier by a couple of steps.
And J.J. Moran in yesterday's game put together some web gems out in the field. Remember that one play where he caught the foul ball over the railing, like over at the Florida State dugout. He also made a nice diving play that kept Florida State off the board as well.
Well, that's how you win one-run games, as Stanford did last night, 4-3.
Hunter Carnes looks at ball one. Hunter Carnes played catcher last night, going 2 for 3 with an RBI. His legs are getting the rest, as is Nathan Schmela at catcher today.
Philip, his father, down to our left, has the iPhone out. He's got a Carnes jersey on, and he's videoing with his mobile phone his son's at bat.
Yeah, the Florida State fans came out in droves this weekend.
Numbers.
Missed in the dirt. Count goes to 3-1, but I pulled up to the parking lot today, and I drove past this big tailgating area that the folks from Tallahassee had, and they had a big banner that said "Tally to Cali." O'Haron puts it in for strike 2. Count goes full, but it just goes to show the fan base that Florida State has that are able to make these big trips, and even also just what they want to continue to do from just a booster standpoint. Swing and a miss as Torin O'Haron putting together a solid first inning to get the ball game going as we move to the bottom of the first. Stanford coming up to the plate. Walking back here to Sunken Diamond, now on the bottom of the first after Florida State go down 1-2-3. As we'll give you the starting lineup for the Cardinal. Court McDonald will bat first, play center field. Eric Gian in the second spot at second base. Rintaro Sasaki back again in the third hole at first base. Teddy Tokheim in left field bats cleanup. J.J. Moran in the fifth spot at third. Charlie Bates will bat sixth, playing shortstop. Brady Reynolds in the seventh spot, playing right field. Jimmy Nadai is today's designated hitter, batting eighth, and Luke Lavin rounds out the order in the 9-hole at catcher. And on the mound for Florida State, they're going to go to the junior and Trey Beard. Trey Beard is the number 2 starter in the Seminoles rotation, as he's looking to put together a solid outing. He's one of the top pitchers in the ACC from just an overall strikeout standpoint. Has 61 on the year with a 4-1 win-loss record and 42 2/3 innings pitched.
6'2", 185-pound junior is Trey Beard. Phillip out of Dunedin, Florida. Pitched has Beard 42 2/3 innings, and you mentioned the great strikeout total, 61. Pretty good strikeout to walk ratio. 61 strikeouts in the 42 2/3 and just 17 walks.
And Trey Beard transferred in from Florida Atlantic, where he was an All-American Athletic Conference recipient last year as a sophomore.
One of the top transfer targets in the portal last year, decided to stay in state.
First pitch to McDonald's outside for a ball, and even for Florida State overall, they had a top 5 transfer portal class coming into the season.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Phillip, in terms of portal in. Of course, a lot of us watched Florida State in that epic 3-game Super Regional in Corvallis last year. Alex Lodis, the great shortstop, along with Miles Bailey last year. Lodis did not have a good Super Regional. He didn't hit like he had all year. He was arguably the best player in college last year. Now he's in the pro ranks. But Florida State, not unused to flying all the way across country to play baseball.
That's for sure. McDowell takes the 3 all the way, but it's in for strike 1. And for Stanford, David Esker adding more left-handed hitters into the lineup only because Florida State have struggled this year against left-handed hitting as Court McDowell works the walk. So here comes Eric Gian, who had himself a pretty good night, was able to get the big hit that helped Stanford get the lead in the bottom of the 5th where they put up 4 runs as he drove in 2 on the RBI single.
Just what an emerging player for Stanford. Again, wasn't a starter at the beginning of the year, but got his chance in the lineup and has not relinquished it.
Going to take strike 1 in with the breaking ball. And Gian has even put up career highs since his freshman year transferring in from Columbia. Gian sends a shot down the left field line, but it will go left of the foul pole.
All the way left onto the roof of the Stanford batting cage, which is way down the left field line in foul territory. It's a structure. It's not just one of those portable cages.
Now Gian has swung his way into the starting lineup, hitting .323 overall on the year of 8 home runs. Late on that pitch there, fouls it the other way.
Court McDonald at first, 2 steals and 4 attempts this year, but he does little jerk moves at the end of his lead, trying to disrupt the pitcher. That was an innovation of Dean Stotts, the longtime assistant to the late Mark Marquis, whom was honored on campus with a memorial service this past Tuesday. I had the privilege of attending.
John pokes it out and puts it in right field for a single. McDowell makes the turn at second. The throw is going to be cut off as he'll slide in at third. Stanford getting busy early here. Eric Gian able to pick up the single, but still nobody out in the bottom of the 1st.
Well, that was tremendous bat control, Philip, that time. As you could tell that Gian saw the big gap between first base and the first baseman and the second baseman. Paulino, who was drawn way over to second base in his defensive stance, and Gian just poked it where he wanted to hit it. It's a little pepper baseball. Probably hit it no more than 40 miles an hour, but got the runner over to third. He's at first.
Here's Rentaro Sasaki. It's at a curve for strike 1, and Sasaki trying to turn himself around in this series. He went 0 for 4 last night with 3 strikeouts at the plate, which snapped his streak of 3 games with a home run. Got thrown off the air with the breaking pitch for strike 2.
Yes, Beard with a terrific breaking ball there. It was in the dirt, but off the outside part of the plate, and Sasaki completely fooled on it, just waved at it weakly and didn't make contact.
Beard's going to take on Gian at first. A little bit of rain that we had early on here in the Bay Area, but it's lighting up as the sun is starting to peek through the dark clouds. 0-2, Sasaki goes down swinging.
And the breaking pitches from the left-hander Chris Beard from Florida State, highly effective against Stanford's number 3 hitter, leading home run hitter this season with 13 home runs. Sasaki leading on base, or leading on base guy for the Cardinal. or leading walk guy, I should say, not leading on base, but 33 walks, and Beard retired him easily.
Yeah, Rentaro Sasaki just hasn't really been himself to open up this series. Now 0 for 5 at the plate. But here's Teddy Tokheim. I see if he could do a job here. Look at the pitch inside for strike one.
Fastball on the inside corner. Tokheim has a batting stance as a right-handed hitter right atop the plate. So you can, if you're Beard, you might jam him with heat inside.
It was 1 for 4 the game yesterday. Swings and misses.
It's another fastball on the hands, Philip. The hard stuff on the inside corner against Tokheim from Beard has been very effective the first couple pitches of this AB.
Yeah, he's not going to wow you on the radar gun. Only tops out in the mid to high 80s. Tokheim goes down 3 pitches. It's a drop third strike. Gian gets thrown out at second, so it's a strike him out, throw him out for Florida State as they will get out of the bottom of the first, keeping Stanford scoreless. As we move to the second frame, still a 0-0 game here at Sunken Diamonds. You're tuned in to Saturday afternoon baseball on the ACC Network Extra. At Sunken Diamond with number 8 Florida State and Stanford. This is Philip Hall alongside with John Platts. Happy to join you here on this Saturday afternoon. And John, you know, it's great to see the 1990 Stanford Cardinal team, the team that finished 3rd in the College World Series last year, but overall they are the most winningest team in Stanford program history.
And arguably the best, Philip. Stanford, of course, won the College Worlds in 1987, 1988. A few of those guys were on that 1990 team, which is Troy Paulson, the shortstop, Mike Messina and Stan Spencer, the 2 lead pitchers. Messina, obviously, the Major League Baseball Hall of Famer. Georgia beat that great Stanford team twice in Omaha to send Stanford away, the latter time in the semifinals. But we can talk about a lot of guys on that team, including David McCarty, who was the next year the National Player of the Year, future Major League Baseball player. We lost him to the Stanford community a couple of years ago. His wife Monica threw out the first pitch today.
Yeah, a very touching moment to see, you know, the 1990 team come out, just knowing the success that they had during their time as student athletes, as Nathan Schmela will step in the lead off for the Seminoles. Torrin O'Haron back out for the second inning, continuing to fire with the fastball. Big shift on the left side of the infield. The 0-2 pitch. That one's bounced up the middle, but Gian playing there perfectly, so he'll get the first out.
You called it, Philip, that shift that you described well. Had the ball bounced up the middle, but that's where the second baseman, Gian, was, and showing a good, strong arm from behind the second base bag. And second basemen don't have the arms that the shortstops do, but Gian had a lot of juice on that one.
And now the shift will move to the right side, so they're going to slide to the right for Gabe Frazier. Gabe Frazier, a high average hitter, hitting .328 on the season.
One of 3 Californians on this 2026 Florida State baseball roster. And we went from Orange County. That's Orange County, California. Orange Lutheran High School for Gabe Frazier.
Swing and a miss on the Low pitch for strike 2, and Frazier also being a top transfer portal acquisition for Florida State coming from Arkansas. So, this
One of those portal pickups.
right, it's interesting to see how many SEC transfers that Florida State was able to pick up. 2-strike pitch is missed low. Goes to 1-2.
One of the pedigreed programs in the history of college baseball, Florida State. They got Link Jarrett, who has been a terrific coach at his prior stops, and now he's back at his home school.
1-2 hit hard and foul over at the Florida State dugout. Gabe Frazier coming from Huntington Beach, California. Probably the most south I've been in California. Out of Orange Lutheran High School. Big powerhouse down there. Oh, O'Haron doesn't get the call. Just a little bit off.
And O'Haron subtly makes it known to the umpire and to the rest of us watching that when he thinks the call should have gone the other way, got some body movements to show it.
Pitch in the dirt, gets the count full. See who wins the duel here. It's going to be Frazier as he'll work the 1-out walk.
First base runner for the Seminoles this afternoon.
So here comes Kelvin Paulino Jr., freshman from Thomasville, North Carolina, as he comes by way of the IMG Academy. And coming out of high school, John, Paulino was the #1 ranked third baseman from the state of North Carolina and was the 53rd nationally ranked high school player as a perfect game All-American.
Well, and he's had a solid freshman season at the plate, hitting .299. That's a terrific pickup from the high school ranks for Link Jarrett.
Yeah, his measurements ran a 6.84 60-yard dash. Oh, he's got a bit of speed out there, and even the exit velo, he hits the baseball hard, 99 miles per hour last time he was clocked hitting a baseball. Going to take that one outside. Goes to 1-1. Paulino Jr. on the year hitting .299 with a home run, 21 RBIs to his totals. He started in this being start number 25 for him. Swung on and miss. Count now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swung on, foul ball.
Frazier was running on that pitch. He'll have to go back to first.
Yeah, Paulino Jr. hit his first collegiate home run almost about a month ago against North Carolina State. He also had his career high in RBIs totaled for that game, 4 RBIs. And he looks at strike 3 on the corner. He'll get handed the backwards K for the second out.
And O'Haron able to dial up a pitch in a perfect spot that time for O'Haron. That's his 3rd strikeout.
Well, John Stutzer now getting AB here as he's getting the start today after he sat out last night. This is start number 35 for him in his 39th game played with 5 home runs and 28 ribbies in 2026.
The move to first from O'Haron is not particularly quick, and I think the Seminoles know that, so we might see Frazier go here.
Keeping a close eye on him over there at first. Frazier, not a base stealing threat, but he does have 3 on the year. And he does possess the highest on base percentage in today's lineup at .394. Frazier does take off. Pitch is swung on and missed, but Lavin's just going to give him the bag. Got a good jump over there at first.
And Frazier sold that one off the pitcher. Again, O'Haron does not have a quick move to first. Turn is okay, but doesn't snap throw it like you see some other right-handers do. And for Frazier, that is his 4th stolen base this year. He's a perfect 4 for 4.
Stutzer fouls off the off-speed pitch into the seats. A ball and 2 strikes as O'Haron trying to look for his 4th K in his 2nd inning of work, with the possible first run of the game waiting at second. 1-2, O'Haron gives him the high heat. Stutzer not able to cool it off, as Torin O'Haron gets his 4th K in 2 innings, as we'll go to the bottom of the 2nd. Florida State kept scoreless and hitless here in Stanford. Reynolds due up in the bottom of the 2nd for Stanford. Still a scoreless game here at Sunken Diamond on this Saturday afternoon. Some folks over in the party area, just where the Stanford bullpen is, trying to stay, I guess, cool or dry under the tent. There's no raindrops falling.
I think that's the 1990 team and their guests.
Oh, yeah, getting the VIP treatment. Trey Beard back on the mound. Fires the first pitch, the fastball for strike 1 to J.J. Moran. J.J. Moran flashed the leather in the field last night, but went 0 for 4 at the plate. You know, I didn't watch SportsCenter when I got home last night, John, but I'm hoping that one of the plays that Moran made it in the top 10.
Yep, he went over toward the railing, the dugout railing, in front of the Florida State dugout, and as you mentioned, went horizontal and almost flipped over the railing, but stayed horizontal and made the catch with a backhand.
And almost brought me back to the days when Josh Donaldson played third base with the A's. He would make those diving catches over on the rain tarp. I'm going to say Moran went around. Was a drop third strike, but they're able to get the throw to first. Nathan Schmela completes the out.
Boy, both pitchers have looked strong. For Trey Beard, that is his third strikeout here. 3 of the 4 outs he's recorded have been via the strikeout.
Yeah, almost even with Torin O'Haron, who was able to get his 4th strikeout to close out the top half of the second. There comes Charlie Bates. A slow breaking ball in for a strike to begin the A-B. Bates reached base twice last night on a hit by pitch and a walk, but did come around to score in that 4-run rally that Stanford put together in the bottom of the 5th. One up in the zone, but in for strike 2.
Change up there, looked like Beard took something off. And he's ahead again.
Tried to psych out Bates, but Bates able to stay disciplined. He's been patient at the plate here. Gets the count even at 2-2. Just a little bit outside. It's a full count now. Payoff Bates hits it past the diving first baseman Putnam in the right field for the 1-out single.
Bates hit that one off the hands somewhat, but placed it perfectly as Putnam, the first baseman, took a couple quick steps to his left, took a stab at it, couldn't get it. Paulino was shaded toward the hole, and he had a quick jump to his right, but neither was able to get the glove on the ball. First, or rather second Stanford hit of the afternoon.
And see what Stanford can do here with another man on. Here's Brady Reynolds. Hacks early, but catches nothing but the air.
That was a fastball on the inside corner. The lefty Beard pitching to the left-handed hitting Brady Reynolds.
And the junior from Bakersfield, California, hitting .281 with 3 home runs. We'll look at strike 2.
And that fastball was on the outside corner, so there seems to be no mystery to Beard's game plan against the number 7 hitter Reynolds. Hard stuff, although you may see 0-2, either a wasted fastball or maybe a breaking ball and try and get Reynolds fishing.
Yeah, Reynolds homered in the midweek game against Santa Clara on Wednesday.
Huge home run, 9th inning home run, put Stanford up 6-3 at the time. Stanford would go on to win 6-4 over the Broncos.
Murray takes off. Oh, and the throw goes into left field as Bates able to psych out the Florida State infield and will advance to second. Oh, the pickoff move gone wrong for Trey Beard.
It was a beautiful pickoff move. They had Bates dead to rights at second, but Eli Putnam, who has played part of this year at second base for the Seminoles, has shifted over to first with the injury to Miles Bailey. Threw that one wide into left field.
The 0-2. Reynolds rolls it down the first base line, but a foul ball. On the last inning, Eric Gian failed to reach second base, but Charlie Bates able to put himself in scoring position. Outside, Reynolds, good eyes there. Must be eating his carrots. The 1-2 from Beard. Reynolds, high fly ball to left field, a little bit of carry to it. Stutzer back at the wall, and he's going to watch that one go. Brady Reynolds with home run number 4 on the season, a 2-run shot And Stanford are up 2-0.
Well, Philip, you described it perfectly. That ball just got up in the wind stream. It was high in the air, and I don't think either of us thought it was going to get out. But the higher it got, it caught that, I want to say, 10 to 15 mile an hour breeze blowing to left field, and it just kept carrying. And the left fielder, Stutzer, just ran out of room.
The ball was off the bat, 99 miles per hour, going 338 feet. Just crept down out of here.
Well, that's lefty on lefty. Reynolds going the opposite way, and he sort of inside-outed that pitch over the wall.
Jimmy Nadai. Oh, will he go back-to-back? Hit down the left field line, but way foul.
But
he had a chance, though.
Homer in depth by what, about 75, 80 feet at least?
It looked good. It looked good off the bat. Had the distance. Well, Jimmy Nadai, since coming back from injury, he's still trying to find his groove again, where he had 6 home runs on the season. And Beard's going to get him with the strikeout for out number 2.
Yeah. Off-speed pitch. Shoot top level, and that I couldn't hold up.
There's now 4 Ks on the afternoon for Trey Beard. Luke Lavin, who was able to spark the offense yesterday for Stanford, will come up to the plate for the first time. He looks at strike 1. Breaking pitch fouled at the feet, just barely. It's going to go, it went to the backstop. Trey Beard's season high with strikeouts is 14. He was able to get that in a win against Wake Forest on March 14th, where he went 6 2/3, shutting out the Demon Deacons during his outing. Lavin, it's a pop-up but foul, out of play. Whoa, and Beard sails it right over Lavin. Not sure what happened there on the release. The 1-2 bounce just in front of home plate. So Beard having some release issues in these last 2 pitches thrown to Lavin. Count even at 2-2. Oh, we've got him there, able to regroup with the breaking ball. Trey Beard able to get his 5th strikeout of the day, but Stanford able to get the big blow from Brady Reynolds, getting his 4th home run on the season with the 2-run home run as he helped Stanford get the 2-0 lead going into the 3rd. Got the 3rd?
I do.
Yeah, I'll open up.
You throw it over to me.
Gotcha. Welcome back to Sunken Diamond as Stanford lead Florida State 2-0 after Brady Reynolds delivered with his 4th home run on the year, an opposite field home run that went over the left field wall as he's able to help the cause for Torin O'Haron as he will pitch for the lead as going to throw it to my partner, John Platts, to take you through the 3rd and 4th inning.
Thank you very much, Philip Hall. Torin O'Haron out there for his 3rd inning of work for Stanford. A bullpen game plan for Stanford. What does that mean? You have a lineup of 3, 4, 5, 6 pitchers that might pitch on the afternoon, but if one of them is doing well, then maybe they stick around for a while. And O'Haron is in there for his 3rd inning of work. For O'Haron, this is just his 3rd start of the year. Again, the prior 2 were bullpen starts like this one. His 18th appearance. He's worked just 20. Will be his beginning of his 28th inning work this season. So this is a long stretch for him. For the Seminoles here in the top of the 3rd, it'll be 8-9-1 in the batting order. Cal Fisher, Eli Putnam, and Chase Williams. Fisher at the plate, hitting .248. Takes a pitch for strike 1. Cal Fisher is the only Seminole this year to have started and played in all 41 Seminole games. Fastball from O'Haron stayed outside, and the count even up at 1-1. Fisher, a junior from Deerfield, Wisconsin. Hit .303 last year on that terrific Florida State team that reached the Super Regionals. Fastball chopped in front of the plate. Fair ball. Out quickly is the catcher for Stanford Lavin, and he rifles the throw to first to retire Fisher in plenty of time. That'll be 3-1. Or 2-3, I should say, on your scorecard.
Good play by Luke Lavin behind the plate, able to read the ball off the bat and make a nice throw to Sasaki.
Yeah, got out of that catcher's stance very, very quickly. The number 9 hitter, Eli Putnam, at the plate. .226 batting average, but 7 home runs and 27 RBI. Second most home runs on the Florida State team, behind the injured Miles Bailey. Pitch is grounded foul outside the bag at 3rd and down the left field line for a long strike. Count of 0-1.
And O'Haron's been looking pretty good with his control. You know, to open up this game, the walk to strikeout ratio was almost even. He had 5 more strikeouts than he did based on balls, but he's been doing very well against these Florida State hitters.
The 0-1 to Putnam is fouled back to the screen on a breaking ball. The count 0-2. Putnam, a transfer from Davidson College. He was all everything at Davidson last year. First team All-Atlantic 10, .349 batting average, 19 home runs, 62 RBIs. He's another terrific portal pickup this year for Florida State.
From a mid-major at that.
Fastball from O'Haron, up and away, and the count 1-2. And Putnam wasn't a one-hit wonder. He was first team All-Conference 2 years ago. He had .352 with 16 home runs and 58 RBIs. So a well-earned promotion for Eli Putnam from Davidson to Florida State. 1-2 pitch, check swing. Did he go? He did not, said the first base umpire, Eric Gaucher. Count even up at 2-2. Stanford dugout making some noise, and the plate umpire, David Bailey, taking a couple steps over there, takes his mask off and says, knock it off with the verbal stuff.
Yeah, don't think they like the call there very much. You know, and David Esker can be very vocal when it comes to certain calls. We saw a bit of that last night.
2-2 pitch chopped in front of the plate. Another one, about a 10-footer, throw to first by Lavin, goes past the first baseman, Sasaki, and that will allow Putnam to go over to second base. That was not an easy play, but I imagine that one will be an error against Stanford.
Yeah, it was a similar play to the Cal Fisher play, but this time around, you know, like Lavin didn't really have a good read to the ball, which kind of forced him to rush the throw. And, you know, Putnam, he was gunning out the box, and, you know, just a throw that Sasaki couldn't really read well.
So a two-base error charged against the catcher, Lavin. So Florida State still looking for the first hit. Back to the top of the order, and Chase Williams, the center fielder, who struck out to lead off this ball game. We're in the top of the third. 2-0 Stanford. Fastball from O'Haron outside. Williams, 265 as he stands up there. No home runs, 11 RBI for the speedy center fielder. Off speed from O'Haron, caught the outside corner with a backdoor breaking ball.
A good pitch to throw. You know, Williams, he's been caught off guard from the breaking pitches, especially from what we saw last night with the 5 arms that Stanford brought out.
O'Haron's pitch, fastball ran away outside, and count 2-1. Williams last year, terrific latter part of the season for the Seminoles. Hit .342 on the season, had 2 home runs, 20 RBI. He lines one into right field, base hit, and that's going to get a run home for the Seminoles. And Williams takes a wide turn. He'll hold it first. Scoring is Eli Putnam. And the Seminoles have cut the Stanford lead in half. It's 2-1 Cardinal. For Chase Williams, it's his 12th RBI of the season, Philip.
And Chase Williams, he continues to see the ball very well. You know, he delivered with a 2 RBI double in last night's game in the 3rd inning, and today in the 3rd inning with the RBI single to get Florida State within 1.
Well, and a stolen base threat very much present with Chase Williams at first for the Seminoles. He has 14 steals this year, as the hitter is DeLamielleure.
And not to mention, too, that extends his hitting streak now to 12 games.
Yeah, Chase Williams in this Florida State lineup that really misses Miles Bailey, the big first baseman, slugging first baseman, hitting for average first baseman, .363 before the big guy got hurt. Pitches pop foul over the screen and over the press box and out of play. DeLamielleure.
Hope it doesn't land in somebody's hot dog or on the way back from the concession stands.
Williams was not running on that play, so count of 0-1. 1 out here in the top of the 3rd, 2-1. Stanford, Florida State looking for a win. The big boys in the ACC have won today, most of them. Over to first base with the throw, O'Haron, and back in plenty of time is Williams. Georgia Tech fell behind Wake Forest today in Atlanta 10-0 before there was a rain delay. And wouldn't you know, Georgia Tech down 10-0, comes all the way back and wins it over Wake 14-11. They are the first place team in the conference. Fastball from O'Haron, too high, and the count 1-1. So Georgia Tech 18-5 now in conference play. They're up 2-0 in that series. North Carolina destroyed Duke 22-5 in Durham to take that series. Pitches swung on and missed. Curveball from O'Haron. Got DeLamielleure chasing, and the count 1-2. So Georgia Tech 18-5 in conference play. North Carolina 17-7. Florida State sitting at 12-7. Go over to first. Williams, that's a closer play, but Williams back. Boston College all over Notre Dame in South Bend today, 16-1. The Eagles are 15-8. Those are your top 4 in the conference. Williams goes, pitches high, throw down to second base. It is not in time. Close play at second, but Williams with a head-first slide for the moment. See if David Esker wants to replay that one, the Stanford head coach, but he looked to be safe, did Chase Williams, and no offering a request for a replay. So steal number 15 for Williams. He's in scoring position.
Tough one to read. You know, Williams was gunning, and even with the hard slide, was still able to keep a hand on the bag.
Pitch to DeLamielleure with a cut fastball off the outside corner, and the count now full to Brody DeLamielleure.
And it amazes me like how many high-scoring games that there were across the conference today.
Yeah.
Feels like no pitcher is safe in the ACC.
Break out the bats, ball chopped foul past the third base box. We'll do it again, 3-2. No, the teams at the top broke out the bats today. 14 runs for Georgia Tech, 22 for North Carolina, 16 for Boston College. Of course, we talked about Florida State and not missing Miles Bailey. Of course, Florida State has the real good starters and a terrific closer we may talk about today. And now a backward look at second base as O'Haron steps off the rubber. John Abraham is the closer for the Seminoles. He's got 5 saves this year and a sub-1 ERA.
And how about that Wake Forest Georgia Tech game?
Inside out swing, inside first base bag and fair. It goes off the restraining wall along the right field line. That gets Williams home with ease. It'll be a double for Brody DeLamielleure and an RBI. And this game is tied at 2. And Philip, 3-2. That was an inside out swing. The pitch was inside to the right-handed hitting DeLamielleure, and he inside outed it about a foot fair inside the first base foul line, and it landed about 10 feet behind the bag on a low line drive.
Yeah, and how about Brody DeLamielleure? He's the doubles man this weekend here in Stanford. Is now his 3rd double hit in the series. So he's been collecting some bags here, and he was able to collect with the RBI to tie up the ball game.
DeLamielleure has 6 doubles this season now, and half of them have been in the last 24 hours. Meeting at the mound now for Stanford. That's Thomas Eager, the pitching coach, had a word with O'Haron. Stanford looks like they're rustling in that bullpen.
They got lefty arm getting loose down the right field line.
We'll see who that is. It might be Mike Erspamer. We'll see when the warms up. Maybe in the windup turns his back to us.
It looks like Sam Garwal warming up down there.
Okay. Number 3 hitter in the order now is Hunter Cairns, and he fouls it back to the screen. Count 0-1. Cairns struck out his first time up. As Philip mentioned, the regular catcher for the Seminoles, but with a night game last night, day game today, Link Jarrett giving Cairns the day off defensively. A real good hitter is Hunter Cairns, though. Pitch, check swing, it's over for a strike, and the count quickly 0-2 to Hunter Cairns, who's came into the game hitting .318, 3 home runs, 20 RBI. Last year he hit .286 for the Noles with 6 home runs. 0-2 pitch, breaking ball stayed outside, and the count 1-2. Cairns, a sophomore from Jacksonville. 2 for 3 last night, also had a stolen base. 1-2 pitch from O'Haron is lined inside the bag. A ground ball fair down the left field line, and that's going to get the go-ahead run home for Florida State as DeLamielleure scores, and into second base is Hunter Cairns with the 3rd consecutive Florida State hit and the 3rd consecutive batter to drive in a run for Florida State.
Just keeps adding on. Florida State just trading places nonstop. You know, Hunter Cairns able to deliver with a double, and Moran could have had a good play on it, but it was hit just too hard down the line. Florida State able to put up 3 here in the 3rd.
And there'll be a pitching change for Stanford. And Philip, you correctly identified the new Stanford pitcher. It is Sam Garwal.
Now, Torrin O'Haron is going to get a standing O for his outing, even though this was a rocky 3rd inning for him. You know, it's no stranger to what Florida State did last night, putting up 3 in the top half of the 3rd. But, again, the Stanford got the last laugh, however.
So Garwal it is for the Cardinal. Garwal, the 6'5", 243-pound senior from San Diego. for Sam. This is his 13th appearance of the season. His 9th in relief. He's worked 21 2/3 innings. Walked only 8, struck out 29. Garwal's earned run average is 7.48 on the season. 0-2 the won-loss record, so he takes over for the starter, Torin O'Haron.
Garwal's last outing, he pitched 2 innings against Santa Clara in the midweek matchup. And he was able to put up a scoreless 2 innings, only allowing 1 hit against the Broncos, but did rack up 4 strikeouts. So hopefully, the opener strategy, trying to put the bullpen to work, will still work for David Esker as Garwal is coming in a pretty big spot. Florida State putting up 3 runs to get the lead, and Stanford still needing to get 2 more outs to get back to the plate.
For Florida State, the cleanup hitter, Nathan Schmela, getting ready to stand in there. He bounced to second an inning ago. Florida State sending its 6th hitter to the plate here in this top of the 3rd. Florida State with 3 in the top of this frame, leading it 3-2 over Stanford now. Schmela from the stretch, backward look at second base, now comes home. Fastball is high. Count of 1-0.
That's 4 consecutive Seminoles have been able to reach. 3 of them able to get hits and RBIs.
Garwal's pitch off speed, bounces away from the catcher, and that's going to allow Carnes to move over to third base. A wild pitch against Garwal. That pitch bounced in front of home plate, and a pretty decent block by the catcher Lavin to keep that one from going all the way to the backstop. But with the curveball and the rotation of the baseball, it bounced about 10 feet away from Lavin, and Carnes with a good jump. He's at third with 1 out now. Stanford infield is in. Garwal's pitch is wrapped to right center field and pretty deep. Back goes the center fielder McDonald in a couple of steps, but that's going to be an easy trip home for the runner at third. Carnes, sacrifice fly, and an RBI for Schmela, and the Seminoles have their 4th run of this top of the 3rd. It's 4-2 Florida State.
Now Nathan Schmela was able to hit it over the infield that was trying to crowd him in, and on a play like that, or really in a bat that Schmela had, all you're just trying to do is put the ball in the air, try to get that a run in. Doesn't matter how you do it. Yeah, but this has been a pretty good inning for the Seminoles. They even put together some pretty good at-bats, I will say.
Gabe Frazier, the Californian, chops one foul over toward the Stanford dugout, 0-1. The young man from Huntington Beach, down in Southern California, and Orange Lutheran High School, which, as Philip correctly mentioned, is a powerhouse athletic program down in Orange County, California. Frazier, left-handed hitter. Breaking ball is hit to left center field. Over comes McDonald with a full sprint. He's there and makes the catch for out number 3. For Florida State, though, in the top of the 3rd inning, they push across 4 runs to take the lead in this game for the Noles. 4 runs. They did it on 3 hits. There was 1 Stanford error and no runners left on base. Our score through 2.5 innings here at Sunken Diamond on an overcast Saturday afternoon. It is Florida State 4 and Stanford 2. Welcome back to Sunken Diamond in Stanford, California. Florida State 4, Stanford 2. John Platts along with Philip Hall. We go to the bottom of the third inning, top of the order for Stanford. Court McDonald, Eric Gian, and Rentaro Sasaki, the scheduled hitters. Florida State with 4 in the top of the third after Stanford scored 2 in the bottom of the second. Those are all the runs in the game so far, 4-2. Knowles, McDonald walked and was left stranded in the bottom of the first inning. He takes a fastball running in on the hands, but over for a strike on the inside corner from Trey Beard.
You're going to see him pitch with a different mentality now for lead. So he's oozing with confidence now on the mound.
Fastball chopped at the plate, foul over toward the fungo circle. And Beard ahead of McDonald, 0-2. Court McDonald, the senior from Arlington, Texas. Having a nice senior season, hitting .342. One of those part-time starters for Stanford, now full-time because he's hitting so well. Breaking ball from Beard. Bounced on the plate, the count 1-2. McDonald, 7 doubles, 2 home runs, 13 RBI. He's 16 of 57. Played in 25 games, started 20. 1-2 pitch bounces. Even up at 2-2. Florida State and Stanford, this is a 21st all-time meeting, just an epic meeting in 1999. We'll start to talk about that as time permits. As the 2-2 pitch is bounced to first base from Court McDonald, and on a high hop, Putnam gloves it and runs over to the bag and does it himself. First out of the bottom of the third inning. In 1999, both Stanford and Florida State made the College World Series, and they faced each other 3 times.
Like a Major League Series.
Yeah, double elimination, of course, in Omaha, and Florida State beat Stanford when they squared off in the winner's bracket. Beard's pitch to Eric Gian is on the outside corner for a strike. Florida State beat Stanford 8-6 in a winner's bracket game. Stanford won its next game, an elimination game, and then they had to face Florida State again. Curveball from Trey Beard is a beauty. 12-6 curveball over the top, and the count quickly 0-2 to the Stanford number 2 hitter, Eric Gian, who singled in the first inning. Beard's 0-2 is fouled back to the screen. Gian did a good job staying alive there. That pitch was borderline high, borderline outside, but Gian didn't want to take it.
What's crazy about that 99 College World Series is that Florida State had to go up against their in-state rival in Miami, who actually ended up winning.
That was a championship game, but a story about the 2 games prior to that for the Seminoles. Pitches pop foul back of first, but there's room for Eli Putnam. He's under it and makes the catch for out number 2. So a couple of putouts recorded by the Seminole first baseman. Nobody on, 2 out now for Stanford, and Rentaro Sasaki, the big first baseman, to the plate. He struck out against Trey Beard in the bottom of the first inning. Sasaki, Stanford's leading home run man with 13 home runs, leading guy in terms of getting walks. He has 33.
I will say, I don't think Florida State likes being the first loser to the Hurricanes.
No, that in-state championship game in '99. But in the first meeting, we talked about Stanford lost to Florida State. Then there were 4 teams left. Stanford had to beat Florida State twice. Stanford beat Florida State in the first of those 2 meetings, 10-6. Curveball or fastball to Sasaki ran high, count 1-1. June 18th, 1999, a winner-take-all semifinal game between Stanford and Florida State, and oh, what a game it was. 14-11 in extra innings, the Seminoles won it as Sasaki wraps it foul off to the left side and out of play. Carl Jernigan, a walk-off 3-run home run in an extra frame, got it done. Stanford starter Jason Young, Philip, threw 167 pitches in that game.
Goodness.
Stanford, Florida State kept falling behind and tying. A ball bounced back up the middle, but that's right where the shortstop is. It takes a crazy hop, and there's no play. I don't think you can charge an error on that one. It looked to be a bad hop. Sasaki aboard, but no mercy for Gabe Frazier, it seems.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to book an error on the bobble. But yeah, Sasaki just happy to get on base finally in this series. And I think even Trey Beer was kind of surprised to have that one come right back to him.
Sasaki aboard and brings up the cleanup hitter, and that's Teddy Tokheim. He fouls it back to the screen. Count of 0-1.
Yeah, when you think about that 99 run for the Seminoles, it's probably the closest that Mike Martin had to getting a title, which, you know, never did. But, you know, at least for Florida State, you know, like they're still at an elite level to where they have the team and the tools to get to the promised land, hopefully.
Lost that game to Miami by 1 run, 6-5, but that semifinal, 14-11, Noles over the Cardinal. Pitch to the plate is lifted to left field and deep. Back goes the left fielder Stutzer. That one is gone over the trees, and the Cardinal has tied the game at 4. Teddy Tokheim circling the bases with home run number 11, RBIs 32 and 33, and we're all square at 4.
And the slugger out of the Emerald City continuing to swing the big stick. Just took that breaking pitch. Beer just hung it over. And Tokheim said, hey, watch this one go, as he sent it over the trees at 106 miles per hour off the bat, going 413 out of Sunken Diamond.
Well, the fastballs on the hands were effective the first at bat from Beard, and that pitch is lined foul along the third, just to the left of the third base line by J.J. Moran, count of 0-1. But the fastball's retiring Tokheim easily in his first at bat, but as you mentioned, Philip, he hung a breaking ball there, and Tokheim deposited it. Moran at the plate, he struck out his first time up. 4-4 tie here in the third. Pitch is lifted foul and out of play over the berm along the right field foul area. Of course, the 1990 Stanford baseball team is in the party area, the tent area, if you will. Names like Jeffrey Hammonds, who was the leading hitter on that team, major leaguer to be. Beard's pitch to Moran is high, count 1-2. Troy Paulson, the senior shortstop, another of those excellent hitters. He hit .336. Hammonds hit .340. David McCarty, the sophomore first baseman, hit .335. Beard's pitch, curveball, called strike 3. Backdoor breaking ball, retires J.J. Moran. Second time Moran has gone down on strikes, and that will do it for Stanford in the bottom of the third inning. But the Cardinal strike back for 2 runs and tie this game at 4. The Cardinal get 2 runs in the inning. They did it on 1 hit. There was 1 Seminole error and no runners left on base. Through 3 full at Sunken Diamond on the campus of Stanford University. Our score, Florida State 4 and Stanford 4. To the top of the 4th inning at Sunken Diamond in this ACC matchup, first ever ACC matchup between Stanford and Florida State. Score is tied at 4 as we go to the fourth inning. John Platz along with Philip Hall. This is first time these two schools, these highly pedigreed baseball programs, have faced one another in ACC play. Florida State has a pretty large contingent of fans off to our left. Third base dugout is Florida State's dugout. Philip, you talked about the tailgating action, but just a lot of Nole fans have come to see this one. I imagine some family members, maybe some West Coast graduates or former students at Florida State, and all kinds of Florida State colors being flown here.
I've put my money on them just getting on a flight from Tallahassee, making the trip out here. You know, it's really cool just to see, you know, this now in a way you could say being a coast-to-coast conference where, you know, teams like Miami, which were here last week, and Florida State had to make these long-distance trips to come out here to the West Coast, see California, and it's just a great thing. I mean, again, it's adjustment for teams like Stanford having to make the East Coast trips, but, you know, this is the lay of the land now for the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Sam Garwal's first pitch to Kelvin Paulino Jr. missed with a fastball, count of 1-0. 4-4 tie, top of the fourth. Paulino called out on strikes his first time up, this promising freshman for the Noles. Swung on and missed on a fastball that time for Paulino, and count even up at 1-1. Kelvin Paulino Jr. hitting .296, one home run, 21 RBIs, right-handed hitting freshman. He takes an off-speed pitch down. The count 2-1.
Well, we know about the College World Series appearances for Florida State, but how about them getting 11 players drafted last year in the 2025 MLB draft?
Terrific team as a ball is lifted high in the air along the left field line. Over is the left fielder for Stanford, Teddy Tokheim. He's under it and makes the catch. Not sure if they call that one fair or foul, but in any event, the put out recorded by the Stanford freshman left fielder. Second time that Paulino's been retired in 2 plate appearances. And we go to the number 7 hitter, John Stutzer. 0 for 1 with a strikeout in this game, but this freshman from Marietta, Georgia, has had a solid freshman campaign. .297 his batting average, 5 home runs, 28 RBI. Garwell from the stretch, a bunt. It's been chopped behind the plate. That's a good thing for Stutzer, because had that one stayed fair, that would have been another opportunity for Lavin to bounce in front of home and throw out a runner at first, which he's already done in this game. Stutzer a threat to run, as Philip mentioned. The two guys who are threats to run for Florida State are Chase Williams and Stutzer in this Florida State lineup. Garwal's pitch, fastball swung on and missed. That was heat on the inside corner from the Stanford left-hander.
Yeah, Stutzer is an athlete from Marietta, Georgia, playing at Pope High School. He played both baseball and football.
Pitch is swung on and missed as Garwal puts him away with a fastball tailing away from the right-handed hitting Stutzer. That's the second time Stutzer has been retired on strikes in this game. And to the number 8 hitter, Cal Fisher.
That pitch was 94 miles per hour up in the zone. And, you know, Garwal able to go upstairs to have Stutzer go after it. And that's something that the Florida State hitters haven't really been having success with. Those high in the zone pitches, they haven't really been able to make contact or get around on in this series.
Fisher at the plate, right-handed hitter, takes a fastball inside. He was one of those hitters that nubbed one in front of the plate, and he was retired his first and only time up previously. Catcher to first base. .246 the batting average for this junior. Garwal's pitch took something off, and it just did cross the letters for a strike.
Almost a pearl, just fell into the zone at 74. Big bender on the big lefty.
Maybe more of a breaking ball than a change, but Garwal evens the count at 1-1. Fastball popped up on the infield, way up in the air. Sasaki, the first baseman, says he has it. Now the second baseman, Gian, calls him off, and it is the Stanford second baseman that records the out for Stanford, 3 up, 3 down for the Seminoles in the top of the 4th inning. After this break, we'll come back for the bottom of the 4th inning with our score remaining. Florida State 4 and Stanford 4. Welcome back to Sunken Diamond. John Platts along with Philip Hall. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Florida State 4 and Stanford 4. We talked about Stanford and Florida State in those epic 3 matchups in the 1999 College World Series. 2 of them in the semifinal, 2 semifinal games actually. Florida State had to win just one of them and won the second, then Florida State lost in the final against Miami. Stanford and Florida State also met in the 2008 College World Series. The World Series ultimately won by Fresno State. And Stanford had its way with the Noles in 08, 16-5. The teams have a 2-2 record in World Series play. Charlie Bates, the hitter, to lead off the 4th for Stanford. He hits one to right field, but right there is the right fielder for Florida State, DeLamielleure, and he retires Charlie Bates. Bates singled and scored his prior time up, so he's 1 for 2. And Brady Reynolds to the plate. He got Stanford on the scoreboard with a 2-run home run his last time up. A junior from Bakersfield. Trey Beard's fastball runs inside to Reynolds on the count 1-0. Reynolds hit his 4th home run of the season in that prior at bat and the 14th of his career. He hits one to left field. That one looks like it will stay in the park, and off the glove it goes. As Stutzman running to his right hard, looked like he was going to make a stabbing catch on the warning track, but it just ticked off his glove. That will, I'm sure, go as a double.
Yeah, it was a hard hit ball for Reynolds, and it was going to be a tough play for Stutzer. Tried to make the catch on the run, but just couldn't make a clean grab. And Brady Reynolds with another extra base hit to add to his totals, and Stanford in a spot now to get the lead back.
Jimmy Natai, the designated hitter at the plate, struck out his first time up, coming back from injury. Trey Beard's pitch, breaking ball, backdoor strike. By backdoor, we mean it to a right-handed hitter, the left-handed hurling Beard. Goes a breaking ball. It looks like it's going to be outside, but it just catches the outside corner on the inward break. 0-1, fastball at the knees and over for a strike. Nice mixing up of pitches there by Trey Beard.
His pitch count starting to climb up a little bit. He's starting to reach into the high 60s now on the day, so don't know if that tank has enough fuel in it.
Off-speed pitch on 0-2 stayed inside, the count of 1-2. Stanford has the go-ahead run at second base in Brady Reynolds. Natai, Stanford's leading RBI guy a year ago with 50, has 23 this year. Hitting .250 at the plate as he stands in there. Has missed about 8 games due to injury. Mid-March to mid-April, back now. Although not playing his usual position, second base, he's DHing as he tries to get fully healthy, Philip.
Yeah, I think Eric Gian has held down the second base spot with Jimmy Nadai coming back. And, even though it's great for David Esker to still pencil him in the lineup.
Beard from the stretch, backward look at second. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, too much hump in that one. It stayed high, and Trey Beard has gone all the way. To Jimmy Nadai, the pride of Australia. Estude signing a professional contract after his junior season last year, back for his senior campaign. Beard's 3-2, fastball chopped off the shin of Jimmy Nadai, and we'll do it again, 3-2. Stanford, Florida State, 2-2 all-time in the College World Series. In regional play, it's been all Florida State. 2012, Florida State just pummeled Stanford in 2 games in Tallahassee. Super regional, I should say, in 2012. Florida State also beat Stanford in a 1992 regional in Tallahassee. And in 1996 on this field, Florida State beat Stanford 5-4 on a walk-off home run. Yeah, I said it, walk-off home run. Breaking ball bounced on the plate for ball 4, and it goes away from the catcher, Shmela. So that will allow, on the wild pitch, Reynolds to go to third, Nadai to first, and Stanford with runners at the corners with 1 out, and that will send the pitching coach for Florida State out to the mound. It's Micah Posey, and no relation to Buster Posey.
No.
But the Posey name, royalty.
However, though, Buster Posey, did play his college ball at Florida State.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Now he's got a corner office at Oracle Park, just a half hour up the road.
35 miles away. Micah Posey has put together, though, a pretty fair coaching career as an assistant coach here at Florida State. That's the first mound visit. If there's another one this inning, that will be it for the pitcher. So that'll bring the number 9 hitter, Luke Lavin, to the plate. 1996, Stanford and Florida State squared off in a second-round regional game. J.D. Drew hit a home run. I was at the game, about 2/3 up that light pole in right center field. Florida State was the home team in that game. They alternate home and road teams more or less in regional play. It's a little more complicated than that, but Florida State was the home team, and they walked off Stanford on Stanford's own field in 1996. Now a bunt, a safety squeeze, and it goes foul. Wasn't a straight squeeze. As Luke Lavin, the hitter, bunted it foul up the first base line. Lavin struck out his first time up, so Stanford trying to go little ball here.
They were throwing out a few small ball plays in yesterday's game that kind of threw Florida State off a little bit, and it was a good strategy for them. Not something that you would see the Cardinal do a lot, but in the tight ball game like it was last night, they were able to pull it out.
Lavin, left-handed hitting catcher against the left-hander Beard. Stanford runners at the corners with 1 out in this 4-4 tie. Check swing, it's over for a strike. And the count quickly 0-2 to Luke Lavin. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning in a 4-4 tie. Beard at the stretch. Comes home. Fastball outside as Shmela tried to, with the mitt, quickly jerk it over the plate, and the plate umpire was having none of that. Beard trying to get out of trouble here. Looks over at first. Comes home, fastball outside, and goes off the glove of the catcher Shmela. That will allow Nadai to get to second base. But he was running on the play, and they may give him a stolen base.
At least so. Base is open, so why not take it? Florida State trying to keep this a tie ball game.
Yeah, Beard's concern is the hitter, Lavin. The 2-2 is hit to right field, but right at the right fielder, and it goes off the glove of the right fielder, DeLamielleure, and that's going to get 2 runs home, and Lavin's still running. He's going to round second and go all the way to third, and he's in there. We'll see if they score it a triple or a three-base error. In any event, Stanford takes the lead as Reynolds scores and Natai scores.
Tough playing right. You know, De La Melier, I think he just might have misread that hard hit ball off the bat of Lavin, and even watching him, you know, the way that he had his feet set, you know, he started back, then kind of came in late as the ball was dropping, and then just couldn't, you know, line up the ball with the glove.
Looks like it's going to be scored a triple, so 2 RBIs for Lavin as the Cardinal take the lead. Runner at third, 2 outs, and back to the top of the order, McDonald. He takes a breaking ball for a strike, so tough luck for Trey Beard, and really tough luck for the right fielder, De La Melier. He's never played in this park. And a line drive, maybe knuckling right at him. He's running in on the ball. It's not high in the air. As the curveball, nice block by Schmela. Count even up at 1-1, and that's frustrating for De La Melier and the Florida State team, as that's just tough luck. 1-1 pitch, wrapped foul off the screen. And the count now 1-2 to McDonald, who is 0 for 1 officially, walked and was left stranded in the first inning, bounced to first in the third. We're in the bottom of the fourth, 6-4, the Stanford lead. The 1-2 is chopped foul, and it will bounce, and the batter swung, and so that will retire McDonald for the second out.
They're still waiting for an official ruling on the ball that was hit by Lavin. It's a right field.
I have not seen them come up with error on that play. I think they're going to score a triple, owing to the fact it was hit.
It was hit hard.
It was hit hard, and it would have been a running, probably knee-high catch or belt-high catch. As Eric Gion at the plate now with 2 outs for Stanford, breaking ball over for a strike. Count of 0-1. Still at third is Lavin for Stanford. Gion 1 for 2, singled in the first, fouled out first in the third. Beard's pitch, curveball, again, not tight enough, kind of hung and stayed outside of the plate, outside of the zone, I should say, and the count 1-1.
Beard's been trying to go more there with the breaking ball, but a little bit of a dangerous spot, especially where his pitch count is at now.
Ball is grounded to the hole at short, backhanded by Frazier. Strong throw across the diamond is in time. What an arm exhibited there from the hole at short by Gabe Frazier, as Gion is retired 6-3, and so is the Stanford Cardinal. But for Stanford in the bottom of the fourth, they take the lead. They push across 2 runs. They do it on 2 hits. For the moment, no Florida State errors and 1 runner left on base. Through 4, our score now, Stanford 6, Florida State 4 on the ACC Network Extra.
Yeah.
Go to the top of the 5th inning at Sunken Diamond on the campus of Stanford University. Our score, Stanford 6, Florida State 4. As I turn the mic back over to Philip Hall for innings number 5 and 6. Philip, we have not a scoring correction, a scoring decision.
Yeah, so on the play that allowed Stanford to get the lead back on the hard hit ball from Luke Lavin, it was scored in the book as an E9, as It was the hard hit fly ball that went to right for Brody DeLamielleure to make a play on it, but he misread it off the bat, which allowed both Brady Reynolds and Jimmy Nadai to score, and Lavin advancing to third. So it goes down the book as an error, the second error on the game for Florida State, but Lavin was able to get one RBI out of the hard hit ball.
Not two.
So just to clear things up, kept it open in my scorebook. Just awaiting the decision, but they do rule it as 2 errors now for the Seminoles, but they are down now 6-4 against Stanford here in the top of the 5th. It'll be Eli Putnam to lead off. Sam Garwal still out on the rubber. It's been a seesaw battle with Florida State and Stanford, where Stanford trying to race that 4-run inning that Florida State put on them in the top half of the third. Interestingly enough, this was the part of the order, the 9 back to the top, that started that 4-run rally. 2-1 from Garwal. That one's hit hard to left field. It's going to fall in for a hit. Tokheim cuts in front of the wall, and making the turn is Putnam. He'll park it at second with the leadoff double.
Well, a couple of things there, Philip, on that play. First of all, a beautiful swing, compact, as Putnam, who's a big young man, dug down and lined it over the third baseman's head. Tokheim did a good job cutting that one off, but he doesn't have the strongest arm in left field, and Putnam, I believe, knew that. He was, I think, off the bat thinking, I'm going to go for 2, rounded the first base bag at a perfect angle, and there was no drama at second. That was a double all the way.
Now Florida State trying to spark up another rally. Putnam reached base in the top half of the third and came around to score one of the 4 runs put up by the Seminoles. And there is Chase Williams back to the top of the order. Shows bunt, but pulls back. It's in for a ball.
Williams, among his many talents, he's a switch hitter. So he's now batting from the right side.
That's right. He's had to do that 2 times now in this series. Fastball runs in.
And you can tell Williams knows his way around a bunt stance. That's a tough one to pull a bat on. Inside pitch, tailing away from the right-handed hitter, and gymnastically, Williams brought the bat back.
He's going to put down this time. Sasaki coming in. The toss to first is late. Might have been some miscommunication with him and Garwal on that play. Chase Williams able to leg it out. Now there's runners at the corners.
That's the speed factor for Florida State. First of all, it was a beautiful bunt, push butt between first and second. It was picked up about 60 feet away from home plate, but Stanford didn't show a lot of urgency there, and Williams, fleet of foot, to put it mildly. You could see that he had that one legged out, even as it was being released underhanded by the Stanford infielder.
Yeah, well, Brody DeLamielleure has a chance to redeem himself after he committed the error in right field the last time that put the Cardinal back in front. DeLamielleure delivered with a RBI single, or excuse me, make that an RBI double in the third inning. Garwal's 0-1. He'll actually make a move the first. Checks on Williams.
Williams had a real big lead that time. And I don't think that was Garwal's A move, or his best move.
Stanford, they want to get a double play to sacrifice for that run that could score. DeLamielleure High fly ball down the left field line. It's going to tail out of play into the Florida State bullpen.
Williams was running on the play, and he had that one stolen big time. He's a little crestfallen going to first, as he knew he had maybe his easiest stolen base of the season. And it's not easy to do that against a left-handed pitcher. The bunting and stolen base skills of Chase Williams, impressive.
1-2 from Garwal. Foul ball hit the other way. Garwal still checking on Williams at first. So far, he's kept a clean sheet here in an inning and 2/3. With a strikeout and only 2 hits given up. Williams takes off. De La Melier fouls it off straight to the backstop.
And Williams, a little crestfallen again, going back to first. I mean, the jump and the speed are impressive. And I think he gets disappointed when the ball gets fouled off. It's a lot of running, too. A lot of hard running.
Must do wind sprints before games. Garwal's throw it over to Sasaki.
Not much conviction in that throw. Just kind of lobbed it over there, just hoping that Williams might be going again, and no dice.
Williams takes off again. Pitch is missed for a ball. No throw. Really no need for one. Wouldn't want to risk, punting them over at third, trying to try for home. Now, both runners in scoring position for De La Melier. 1-2 inside. Count now even at 2-2. Williams is the tying run at second. De La Melier trying to deliver again and redeem himself. 2-2 pitch. Bounced away from Lavin, and Putnam's going to come up the score, and Florida State get it back within 1.
Wild pitch all the way, breaking ball, bouncing in front of home plate, and again, Lavin did the best he could to block it, but with the English, if you will, on that rotating curveball, no chance for him to block it in a way that would prevent Putnam from coming home.
Stanford infield now in with Williams at third. Back up the middle, and De La Melier ties the game and makes up for the error that he committed on defense. Now 6-6 here in the 5th.
Well, Florida State has brought out the bats in this game, Philip. They're hitting the ball hard, not just getting hits, and they're not doink jobs or flip jobs the opposite way. A lot of hard contact, and that was as hard as any in this game. Just hit back up the middle. Line drive, 105 miles an hour on that line drive back through the box.
Yeah, with that one there, it knocks Sam Garwal out of the game. So Stanford will make the call to the pen, but Brody De La Melier, who made a miscue on defense that gave Stanford a lead, now gives Florida State the tie with a big hit here in the top of the 5th.
And one of those young men that you referred to last night who pitched for Stanford in relief, who did well, is coming in to pitch now for Stanford, and that's Cohen Gomez.
Yep, Cohen Gomez, who came out and had a quality outing, pitching an inning with two strikeouts, only 1 walk allowed, but kept the Seminoles scoreless in Stanford's win. We'll see trying to repeat his performance, as it's now a tie ball game here at Sunken Diamond, as we'll take a quick break with Hunter Carnes coming up to hit for the Seminoles. that comfortably with a lead. Florida State able to fight back. Now it's up to Cohen Gomez, who comes out of the pen to try to keep this a tie ball game after Brody De La Melier was able to tie it up with the RBI single. But Cohen Gomez, who pitched last night, he went an inning but kept Florida State scoreless. He's going to look to try to do it again coming in, this being his 18th appearance on the year and 27 2/3 innings pitched, but does have the team high in strikeouts with 37 in 2026.
Out of Canyon High School in Anaheim, California. That's in Orange County. Last Stanford player from Canyon High was on that World Series championship team. The teams plural in 87, 88. Outfielder Eric DeGraw. Gomez trying to make a name for Canyon High as a pitcher for Stanford.
Here's Hunter Carnes. Looks at strike one. He has struck out and delivered with an RBI double in the third. Gomez delivering nice off-speed pitch there for strike two. This is the guy that David Esker wants to have lock in to try to keep Stanford in balance when it comes to the bullpen work. 0-2, and they say that Carnes holds up.
Gomez, 6'3", 225-pound sophomore, Phillip, and gives you a lot of arms and legs. It's more deception than it is hard velo, but he's a challenge.
And Gomez, a sophomore, still young in his collegiate career. Swung on and missed. He gets Carnes. One away, Nathan Schmela delivered with a sacrifice fly to center field. The last run that was able to come across in the third inning. So they do put the shift on. It's 3 men on the left side of the Stanford infield. Gomez makes a move to first, checks on De La Melier, but he's not looking to run.
Yeah, token toss to first. I don't think that's the best move that Gomez possesses, so not much of a lead at first base by De La Melier.
1-0. Eric Gaucher says he hold up. Fly ball hit to right center. It's going to be playable for Reynolds. They'll make the catch, 2 away.
Another ball hit high in the air. Schmela just got under that one.
That was another fly ball out, but it wasn't a productive one for Nathan Schmela.
I still can't get over that throw that Frazier threw from the hole to first base. I mean, that arm strength was eye-popping. He's at the plate now, playing offense.
Gabe Frazier.
Yep.
Coming up, he walked in the second and flew out the center in the third. Gomez is 1-0. And for strike one, solid pitch there. Going more off speed. But he is packing a 38 with the fastball. He does go with the fastball at 90 miles per hour. Misses for a ball.
Gomez, a lot of energy. He after he throws a pitch, Philip, he walks off the mound and catches it on the grass part of the infield. He's just constant movement.
Missed again for ball 3. Hitters count in favor for Fraser. Kelvin Paulino Jr. waiting on deck. (3-1) hit in the air. It'll go foul.
I think David Esker will go a long way with Gomez because he pitched last night. Stanford does have an arm warming in the bullpen.
He's going to try to get Stanford back up to the plate in the 6-6 tie. See who wins the duel here. Payoff hit on the ground, grabbed by Bates. He'll make the throw to end the inning. Florida State able to tie up the ball game. 2 come across on 3 hits as we go to the bottom half of the 5th. 6-6 here at Sunken Diamond. You're tuned in to Saturday afternoon baseball on the ACC Network Extra. You're in the bottom of the 5th as Florida State making the call to the pin, and bit of a surprise here. Link Jarrett is going to go to his closer in John Abraham, who will come in to pitch midway through this ball game here at Sunken Diamond in a 6-6 tie. John Abraham, junior from Tampa, Florida, where he went to high school at Jesuit High School, where he was actually teammates with Florida State's starter from last night, Wes Mendez. John Abraham, one of the top relievers in the nation at the moment, currently is the saves leader for Florida State with 5 on the year. This is far from a save situation, by the way, if you're just tuning in. But he does possess the lowest opponent batting average at 176. So it's an interesting move here, John, and a surprising move from Link Jarrett.
Well, it underscores the importance, I think, to Florida State of wanting to get back in the win column and be in position not only to host a regional, Philip, but be a top 8 national seed where you would host a super regional. You're currently 8th ranked, but having lost last night, that ranking is in jeopardy for next week.
Here's Rentaro Sasaki to lead off against Abraham.
He's a midseason All-American, though. You just wonder if Link Jarrett and Micah Posey have said to the young man, look, we ask you to go a little longer in this game. We want to square this series at 1 game apiece.
It's a hard back up the middle. Oh, and it dinks off of the second base bag. Rentaro Sasaki with another hard hit ball. This one's going to go for a base hit. That's how we lead off the bottom of the 5th.
Gabe Frazier, the shortstop, Philip, was perfectly positioned. He was right behind the bag. He was going to scoop that one up and throw out Sasaki, but as you aptly described it, it doinked off the bag on about the 5th hop.
Here's Teddy Telkheim, who delivered with a 2-run home run his last time up. Able to hit home run number 11 on the season. The freshman from Seattle continuing to dominate at the plate.
.380 the batting average. He is prime candidate for first-team freshman All-American honors nationally.
The 1-0 pitch. Other one inside, but misses for ball 2.
Telkheim stands right on top of home plate, and yet has not been hit this season.
Infield playing straight away, so is the outfield. 2-0 hit hard to short, laying it deep in the hole. They get the throw to second on the first in time. The 6-4-3 double play. Frazier to Paulino to Putnam, and there's 2 away.
Well, that was a terrific throw from the shortstop, Frazier, to the second baseman, Paulino. Again, just a lot of mustard on that throw from Frazier. I mean, he's got a rocket at shortstop.
You know, I say on the mound with Colin Gomez, he's packing a 38. Well, Gabe Frazier's packing a 45 at short. So it's the arm strength that he possesses. Here's J.J. Moran, who struck out twice in the game, both swinging and looking. We'll look at strike 1 from Abraham.
Abraham's pitch, Philip, was on the hands. Telkheim, all he could do was fist it to short, and that's why the quick exchange and throw by Frazier was so important.
That one pops out the glove of Shmela. It was a ball. You know, J.J. Moran, he's had some big hits this year for Stanford. Of course, the one of most recent was that big go-ahead home run he hit on the road at Louisville to help Stanford win the series over the Cardinals.
9th inning, 3-run shot in Game 3 of the 3-game set.
1-1 hit high and deep to center field, but it's going to be playable for Williams. Can of corn for him for the 3rd out. So Stanford not able to get much going there in the bottom half of the 5th. 1 hit, nobody left on, and nothing doing. We'll go to the 6th, still tied 6-6. We're on the top of the 6th in a 6-6 tie at Sunken Diamond. Philip Hall on the call alongside with John Platts with you here on this overcast Saturday on the farm. As now coming in the pitch for the Cardinal, it's going to be Colt Peterson. Peterson making his 17th appearance on the season in 20 2/3 innings pitched. But it's up to him to keep this a tie ball game and get the Cardinal back to the plate. And what has been a back and forth ball game, John? You know, it's just been who's going to throw the last blow in the end.
Well, it just what strikes me, Philip, is the battling of Florida State. I mean, again, they know they're the 8th-ranked team. They know they don't have Miles Bailey, the big first base. They haven't had him for several games now, but just they know that they're compromised offensively. Didn't get it done last night, and I think they're thinking, look, our number 8 ranking likely to slide, and we want to arrest or minimize whatever slide there is by battling in this game, and they've battled on the mound, and they've battled at the plate. Offense really has perked up for the Noles in this game.
And for Stanford, they haven't had too many opportunities to get, a chance to take down a top 25 team. You really go back to all the way in March, where the only top 25 matchup they had was against Wake Forest, who were number 15 in the country at the time. But this is a big series for Stanford to get, and a win today can secure them the series win.
Well, it's for Stanford now, it's all about getting favorable seeding for the ACC baseball postseason tournament in Charlotte next month. That would be Stanford's only route to postseason play.
And they have to win the ACC tournament outright to even get a fair chance or a fighting chance at making it to regionals. Here's Kelvin Paulino Jr. The count even at 1-1. 0 for 2 on the ball game. Back up the middle. Oh, Gian can't play it well. Paulino able to reach on the hard hit single.
Another.
Actually, they might score. They will score that one an error. Error is going to be booked on Gian.
Second baseman playing behind second in the shift.
Yeah, I think there's some voodoo with that second base back, because that's really been a cause of displeasure for the middle infield on both sides. John Stutzer will come up to hit. He struck out twice today. Peterson not able to hit the corner. Move the first. All right, check on Paulino. Pearson did pitch on Wednesday against Santa Clara. He went an inning but got knocked around, giving up 3 hits and 2 runs. A fly ball out to center field, but McDonald will camp under it and he'll make the play.
Good pitch by Peterson, getting that fastball in on the hands of Stutzer, just enough to where it would be just a medium deep fly ball as opposed to something way deeper, warning track or at the wall or beyond.
Kyle Fisher, 0 for 2, will get a chance to hit. Florida State at the bottom of the order here with the table setters. First pitch, strike one. Stanford with a double play chance. Get the middle infielders and Bates and Gian playing back to the grass almost. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit here. And John, I see you're struggling over there a little bit. Just off the corner. The U.S. and the California flag kind of raising up a little bit. The wind blowing more towards the east.
Oh, funny you mentioned the flag. We'll have a story about that.
1-1 to Fisher. Popped up on the first base side, foul territory, plenty of room for Sasaki. He'll make the grab. Oh, he secured it, almost got caught with the drop, but he's going to go for the second out.
That's a pretty long run for Sasaki. He's playing about 20 feet off the baseline, and he's running over within about 15 feet of the Stanford dugout. Foul territory is very generous here at Sunken Diamond, and Sasaki able, with the benefit of the foul being high in the air, able to get under it and make the put out.
It could be annoying for the Florida State hitters having to come to a field like this one and, just know that, oh man, all this room, let me try not to get it in the air on a foul ball. Here's Eli Putnam, who was able to start off that 2-run top half of the fifth with a double his last time up. He came around to score on a wild pitch. The shift is on the left side. A 1-1. Swung on and missed by Putnam for strike 2. Cole Peterson trying to get a big out here. The 1-2 pitch. Just outside. Might have been a waste pitch. Count is even at 2-2. It'll be Bates, Reynolds, and Nadai due up the bottom half of the sixth. Pearson not able to put away Putnam. The count goes full. See who wins the duel here. Ground ball hit the Bates. He'll make a clean throw to first. Easy money. And the inning is over. A runner left on for the Seminoles. Nothing doing in the top half of the sixth. Stanford trying to break the deadlock as we move to the bottom of the sixth here at Sunken Diamond. Bottom of the sixth, Charlie Bates will come up to lead off in a tie ball game. Stanford trying to go for the series win today after opening up the series last night with the 4-3 W over Florida State, number 8 team in the country. This will be the first time in a while where Stanford been able to win a series against a top 25 team, John.
Well, for sure. And again, vibe is good for Stanford. 3 straight wins. Pitching a little hiccupy in this game, but the bats have been equal to the challenge. Challenge for Stanford, can they master the pitching late game as they did last night?
Yeah, it's been a different story as Florida State have been able to come up in timely situations to capitalize on the run total, which explains how we've Gotten to this point in the game, give you the line score. Florida State, 6 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors. Stanford, 6 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors, matching the line score. Charlie Bates fouls off the first pitch. There's still John Abraham on the mound. And a surprise move from head coach Link Jarrett to bring out his closer this early in the game. Oh, 1 to Bates. That one misses low in the dirt.
I mean, could Abraham work 5 innings? I mean, he came on in the 5th. We're now in the 6th, and this is this is your closer.
I can't remember the last time I watched a game where the closer came out this early and was able to go deep to the end. Bates pops it up, third base side, and charging hard for it was Fisher, but he runs out of room.
It is really cool. I mean, football, basketball, men's and women's baseball, the Florida State fans in Northern California, Bay Area, they show out just like other schools. And more so in baseball, I would say, than the other ones we've seen here this year.
I think it just gives people an excuse to come to California.
But the people who live and work in the Bay Area who went to school for the Cardinal and Gold, or the Garnet and Gold, I guess they call it, come out and support their team.
2-2 on the ground. The second, Paulino is to toss the first to Putnam for the first out.
They take pride in their baseball at Florida State. I mean, 24 College World Series appearances, 3 times in the final game, 1970, 1986, 1999. Stanford, 19. Stanford has won the thing twice, though, 87 and 88.
Brady Reynolds would come up 2 for 2 on the game. Halfway from the cycle, he's already homered and doubled.
Outfield pretty darn deep and straight away for Reynolds the way he's hitting in this game.
Big hack, but couldn't catch up to that pitch from Abraham.
He pulled a string on that one. Bit of a change up on that one.
And the most innings that Abraham has pitched on the year came in a win against Virginia on April 3rd, where he went 4 innings, able to accumulate 6 strikeouts.
So there's precedent. This would be an even longer appearance, slightly longer, if he were to remain in the game. But I'll tell you what, he's humming.
And he kept it scoreless in that outing against the Cavaliers, only allowing 3 hits but no runs. The 1-2. Got Reynolds to chase. It's in the dirt. They complete the out at first on the drop third strike. There's 2 gone. Jimmy Nadi will come up with the bases empty.
Well, Abraham sure has done it, Philip. He surrendered the leadoff single. First batter he faced last inning, but then got the 6-4-3 double play, got a third out and on a fly out to center, and ground out to second and a strikeout. So he is in rhythm and looking to inspire his teammates.
Nadi hits it hard to left, and it's going to stay up for Stutzer to make the catch. 3 up, 3 down, go the Cardinal. Nothing doing in the 6th. We go to the top of the 7th, still tied 6-6 here at Sunken Diamond. Well, folks, we're here in the final third at Sunken Diamond, and man, what a ball game that we have had in the second game in the series with the number 8 ranked Florida State Seminoles and the Stanford Cardinal. It all began with Stanford getting on the board first in the bottom of the second, thanks to Brady Reynolds getting a 2-run home run, his 4th home run of the year. But Florida State battled back in the top half of the 4th, where they were able to bring across 4, but Stanford answered back, tying up the ball game thanks to a 2-run shot from Teddy Tokheim, the big freshman, getting his 11th home run on the season. Now Stanford putting up a goose egg on Florida State in the top half of the 4th. They scored 2 extra in the bottom half of the 4th as they brought across 2. But Florida State tied up the ball game in the top half of the 5th after Brody De La Malier, who committed an error that brought across those 2 runs for Stanford to get the lead back. He was the one to retie the game with an RBI single in the top half of the 5th, which brings us to where we are now in the top of the 7th as I throw it back to John Platts to take us through the 7th and 8th inning.
Thank you very much, Philip. Stanford brings on a new pitcher. It'll be Stanford's 5th pitcher of this game. It is Cassius Thomas, the senior from Los Angeles. This is appearance number 20 for Cassius Thomas, a 6'2", 200-pounder from Sierra Canyon High School in the San Fernando Valley. He's worked 20 1/3 innings, walked 8, struck out 16. He faces the leadoff man, Chase Williams, who's had a nice afternoon. First pitch fouled back to the screen, fastball from Thomas, and Williams was right on it. Williams, switch hitter, back hitting from the left side. Williams is 2 for 3, bunt single his last time up. Has a pair of singles in this game, has an RBI and 2 runs scored. A couple stolen bases. He's been active, which is what Link Jarrett wants. First pitch from Thomas. The second pitch is a breaking ball inside, and the count 1-1. Thomas works from the stretch. Fastball is high and popped off the glove of the catcher, Luke Lavin. Count of 2-1. All of Thomas's appearances this season have been in relief, and that's why he works from the stretch even with nobody on. That's habitual for him. Right-handed pitching senior with good velocity on the fastball. Pitch is hit to second base in the hole is Gian. A dive, throw to first in time. Ball was hit hard. Gian didn't move a long way, and he realized he had to dive to his right to prevent that hard hit ball from going into right field. He was able to dive, and then you got to jump up quickly and whip it to first because Williams runs so well.
It's a great play there by Eric Gian. He's just been a defensive threat at second base ever since he earned himself the starting job there. But, you know, it's more impressive just knowing the speed of Williams out the box to still get that throw there in time.
Brody De La Malier, the hitter. He's 2 for 3 on the afternoon with a run scored. Swung on and missed on a breaking ball from Thomas. Lamalier from the right side. 3 doubles in this series for this right-handed hitter. He grounds one. It's backhanded behind third by Moran. Up he goes to straighten himself up and throws across the diamond for out number 2.
Well, Rentaro Sasaki hitting the splits over there at first on the nice backhanded play by Moran at the hot corner. Good throw. Didn't try to rush it. Didn't try to be too aggressive. There's 2 solid wedge in plays by the Stanford infield here in this inning.
Helping out the pitcher, Thomas. 2 up, 2 down for the Seminoles in the top of the 7th inning. They'll bring up the designated hitter, Hunter Carnes. 1 for 3 with a double. Thomas's pitch is too high for a ball. Carnes struck out in the first, doubled home a run in the second, and came around to score on a sacrifice fly. Struck out his last time up. 318 the average as he stands up there. Fastball runs inside from Thomas. 2-0 the count.
Thomas coming into the outing, 2.21 ERA, the best earned run averages amongst the relievers.
Thomas's pitch missed outside with a fastball, and Thomas falls behind Hunter Carnes, 3-0. Florida State has 3 more ACC series after this one. They host Pitt next week in Tallahassee. Then they go to Clemson and close out the regular season at home against Miami. Fastball on 3-0 is inside for ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk with 2 outs issued to Hunter Carnes. And that'll bring up Nathan Schmela, the catcher.
There, Stanford, they have some pretty big ACC series coming up themselves. They go on the road to South Bend to open up May against Notre Dame, so they'll see the Fighting Irish, and then going to come back home second week of May to see North Carolina State. Will be the final home series of the regular season here at Sunken Diamond.
First pitch to Schmela, breaking ball over for a strike. And then Stanford will close out the campaign, the regular season portion, over in Berkeley.
Yeah, the big game series against the Golden Bears.
1-0, breaking ball over for, or check it. The 0-1 pitch is also over for a strike, and Thomas, just as he was behind to Carnes, is now ahead of Schmela. 0-2, 6-6 tie. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Fastball away. 1-2 count. Carnes not really a threat to run. Of course, he's a catcher. 2 for 2 in steals. But we'll see. Thomas's 1-2 pitch is chopped foul, as Schmela just did get a piece of that breaking ball. Count stays at 1-2. Florida State looking for its first win at Sunken Diamond since 1996, 30 years ago, in the NCAA Regional, when Jeff Sprague deposited a pitch the opposite way over the left field fence to give the Noles a 5-4 win over Stanford in a winner's bracket game. Pitch is lined down the right field line, base hit, and that's going to be for extra bases. Rounding second and now rounding third is Carnes, and he's going to come around all the way to score as the Noles take the lead 7-6. A double for Nathan Schmela.
Nathan Schmela able to break out the Old Forest's second RBI on the game, this time coming by way of the hit on the double, and just able to send it down the right field line. And Carnes, of how deep the ball was hit into right field, it was just enough for him to come up standing up.
Right fielder was playing slightly shaded to right center, and that ball hit hard inside the bag at first. The hitter is Gabe Frazier. He chops it foul off of his shin. I think he has a shin protector that he wears, but it didn't cover. I might hit that one off actually the top of his right foot, so that one stings.
And for Cassius Thomas, mentioning that ERA being just over 2, he hasn't given up a whole lot of runs in his outings this year. That run just coming across as only his 9th run allowed for the season.
Frazier seems to have gotten it together. Gabe Frazier from Orange Lutheran, his teammate Colt Peterson 2 years ago. 2024 Orange Lutheran team that won the CIF championship in Southern California. Frazier was a senior, Peterson a junior. So teammates facing each other in college for the first time. Peterson pitched earlier in the game, but not to Frazier. Pitch from Cassius Thomas to Gabe Frazier is 1-1. That was quite a team, that Orange Lutheran team 2 years ago in Southern California. And shortstop, they have a shortstop alumni now playing for Florida State, and a freshman pitcher pitching for Stanford. 1-1 pitch from Thomas to Frazier, caught the outside corner with a fastball, and the count 1-2. Seminole 7, Cardinal 6, top of the 7th inning, 2 outs. runner at second base for the Seminoles with gusts of wind gracing the press box. Pitch on the way, swung on and missed as Thomas ran it in on the hands of Gabe Frazier and got the sophomore to swing and miss. But for Florida State, in the top of the 7th inning, they get a run, a 2-out RBI double for Nathan Schmela. A runner left on base after 6.5 at Sunken Diamond. Stretch time on the campus here in Palo Alto. Our score, Florida State 7, Stanford 6 on ACC Network Extra. Bottom of the 7th inning at Sunken Diamond, Florida State 7, Stanford 6. John Platz along with Philip Hall. The Seminoles pushed across the go-ahead run on a 2-out RBI double in the top of this 7th inning frame. And Florida State trying to even up this series at 1-1. As they have brought their closer in. They brought the closer John Abraham in a couple innings ago, and he's still out there, further to the point of how important this game is for a Florida State team that wants to remain, Phillip, as a top 10 ranked team. The polls come out early this coming week. They want to be in position for a home regional, 4-team regional, but also a top 8 seed so they could host a super regional potentially as Stanford gets ready for 9-2-1 in the order. Luke Lavin to lead it off against John Abraham. First pitch is nubbed foul over toward the fungo circle.
And just looking at the field of 64 projections right now, Florida State, you know, they are in a conversation to be one of the hosts. So, you know, but it's only going to come if they can come back to win this series. If they fall to Stanford in this series, there might be some shakeup.
It's going to hurt the RPI, the numeric metric system that the committee uses. Pitch is grounded foul just outside the bag at first base. It was gloved by Eli Putnam, but it's merely strike 2. 0-2 the count to Luke Lavin, the Stanford catcher, who is 1 for 2, but he had that fly ball to right field that was scored a 3-base error his last time up. It plated 2 runs for Stanford. He was credited, Lavin was, with 1 RBI. And a hole here, 0-2. Pitch is bounced back up the middle. It's going to be a tough play for the second baseman, and no play for the second baseman as it rolls just under his glove. Ball not hit hard by Lavin. But the Cardinal has the tying run aboard here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And with Aram now facing 7 hitters, you know, that's only the second hit that he's given up in the 2 innings of work. Still scoreless.
So back to the top of the order, and Court McDonald for Stanford. Officially 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Walked in the first and was stranded. Bounced to first in the third. Struck out his last time up in the 4th inning. We're in the bottom of the 7th. 7-6 Seminoles, but Stanford with the leadoff man aboard. Lavin not really a threat to go as being the catcher. Abraham's pitch bunted at and unsuccessfully by McDonald. He said it, I brought the bat back, or he's having a discussion with the umpire, and the umpire David Bailey's having none of it. 0-1 the count to the left-hand hitting Court McDonald. And now timeout as the third base coach for Stanford wants to have a conversation with Court McDonald. Philip undoubtedly about getting the signs correct. This is a sacrifice situation. Stanford wants to get that tying run to second base. What with Gian, Sasaki, and Tokheim, scheduled hitters after.
Yeah, this is a spot where Stanford's going to have to set the table. Of course, Court McDonald being at the top of the order this weekend and back-to-back games. You know, it's designed to where you can have your lefty power-hitting bats come up to do the work with the big swings.
The 0-1, McDonald squares, takes it all the way. It goes for ball one. Stanford's record 19-19, 8-11 in ACC play. Florida State 29-12, 12-7 in conference action. The 1-1 squaring is McDonald, bunts it to first. Putnam goes to second. It's not in time. It wouldn't have been in time, but it was a one-hopper off the glove of the shortstop Frazier. That was not the right decision, Philip, I would say, by Putnam. He could have gotten the out at first, and now 2-on, nobody out for Stanford.
Yeah, that's right, and Philip Cheong came in a pinch run for Luke Lavin, so able to get that speed out there. And it was just a solid bunt put down by McDonald.
That's right. We neglected to mention Philip Chong is the pinch runner now at second base. The play is a sacrifice. McDonald's safe on the fielder's choice. And Philip Chong, the speedy freshman, is at second. Chong has scored 6 runs this season. Interestingly, Chong has played in 19 games with 14 at bats, so he's pinch run more than a handful of times for head coach David Esker. But Stanford now with a golden opportunity to get the game even or maybe take the lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2-on, nobody out, and the dangerous part of the Stanford order is at the plate. Gian, Sasaki on deck, and Teddy Tokheim in the hole.
Eric Gian, the right guy to have at the plate. He's 1 for 3 on the game with a single already hit.
Abraham, though, the veteran, used to dealing with situations like this. Foul is fouled over the screen on the swing by Eric Jiang, and the count 0-1. Jiang singled and was cut down at second base in the top of the first inning. He fouled out to first in the third and bounced to short his last time up. Transfer from Columbia. Pitch on the way, taken all the way for strike 2 as Abraham deposits that pitch on the outside corner, and Eric Gian in a hole 0-2.
Well, we've seen this movie before. Eric Gian had the go-ahead hit in the bottom of the 5th in yesterday's game. That was enough to give Stanford the win. See if he could do the sequel.
The 0-2. Gian just did get a pitch. Just did get a piece of it. He fouled it off the screen to keep the count at 0-2. Every time Florida State and Stanford have played on this field, it's been a one-run game. This is the 3rd time they've met on this field. Last night was 4-3 in a tight game that Philip called here for ACC Network Extra. The 0-2 pitch, once again, that's chopped foul over past the Florida State dugout. Count stays at 0-2. We mentioned the game in NCAA playoff game on this field in 1996. That was a great Florida State team. They beat Stanford on a walk-off home run, 5-4. Yes, Florida State was the home team in that NCAA regional game. That was a World Series Florida State team. Randy Choate went all the way, the left-hander for Florida State in that game. 7-hitter, struck out 5. The 0-2 pitch, check swing, did he go? He did not, says first base umpire Eric Gaucher. That one was close.
Yeah, I think even the crowd was also thinking too, oh man, look at Link Jarrett coming out to yell across the field.
Jared had his say, and it was a bark, but then he turned his back on the umpire, which I think was the right move. Otherwise, he might have been tossed. You can't argue balls and strikes. So Gion's still alive, but a lot of Florida State fans along that right side of the stadium, and they're now barking.
Yeah, the Stanford dugout's now active, trying to hype up their guy at the plate.
Gion better be swinging something at or near the plate. 0-2. That one again, shot foul. That one goes off the railing in front of the Florida State dugout. Stays 0-2. Mentioned Randy Choate with a complete game win in the regional in '96. Chad Hutchinson, the Stanford freshman and future NFL quarterback, went all the way in the loss. He gave up the walk-off home run to Jeff Sprague on a Florida State team led by J.D. Drew. Florida State trying to maintain a lead here, a one-run lead. The 0-2 pitch is hit to left field, and that's a bomb. Back goes the left fielder. He leaps and he catches it. What a catch by the left fielder, tagging his Chong. He goes to third. But what a defensive play by the left fielder, John Stutzer.
John, I am speechless. John Stutzer back at the wall, reached up and robbed Gian of a home run that could have given Stanford the lead. And, man, you talk about being the villain of a movie. Stutzer just broke the hearts of the Stanford fans, just knowing they could have saw something big from Stanford's second baseman.
Stutzer timed his leap beautifully, and he did bring that one back. So for the moment, Florida State maintains the lead. Runners at the corners now, but the dangerous Rintaro Sasaki at the plate, one out. Abraham dodged a bullet there. Off-speed pitch swung on and missed. Not much conviction from Sasaki that time, off balance. The sophomore first baseman for the Cardinal is 1 for 3. Aboard on an error in the third and came around to score on the home run by Teddy Tokheim. Singled and was cut down at second on a force play, on a double play his last time up. Runner going from first. Pitch is grounded into the hole at second. The throw to first is in time. Putnam gets back, but scoring is Philip Chong to tie the game at 7. So an RBI ground out for Rintaro Sasaki. That is his 30th RBI of the season. We're tied, Philip, at 7.
It's a consolation for Stanford. They wish they could have had the homer to get the lead, but they'll take the tie. And, Rintaro Sasaki putting together a quality out, driving in the run to get it back even.
And Stanford, or rather Link Jarrett of Florida State, will intentionally walk or order the intentional pass to Teddy Tokheim, the dangerous Stanford cleanup man. So Tokheim goes to first on that play, that terrific play by Paulino, and even better play by the first baseman, Eli Putnam, who backed up to try and field the ball and realized, I better go cover first, and got back with some athleticism in time to record the putout. But on the play, McDonald took second, so Stanford now runners first and second, 2 out. The hitter, J.J. Moran, the right-handed hitting third baseman. Pitch is lined foul into the Florida State bullpen. Pitch from Abraham.
And John Abraham's just been getting knocked around this inning. It's unlikely from the common closer for Florida State. And you just talk about relying in your fielders. Some big plays have been made to keep Florida State on balance.
This will be the 34th pitch from the closer, Abraham. It's lifted, playable behind shortstop. Will it be Frazier, the shortstop, or an outfielder? Frazier's under it and makes the catch for out number 3. So Abraham gets out of it in more ways than one. He gets a great defensive play by his left fielder to rob Stanford of a 3-run home run, and he gets out of the inning, allowing just the 1 run for Stanford in the 7th. 1 run on just 1 hit. There were no Stanford errors and 2 Cardinal runners left on base. Stanford has left 4 now through 7 innings. Our score through 7 in this game. Each team 7 runs and 7 hits through 7. 7's across. Come back for the 8th inning on ACC Network Extra. Top of the 8th inning at Stanford. 7-7 tie for Florida State. 7 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for Stanford. 7 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. There's been a lot of 70s music here at Sunken Diamond. Eddie Money, Van Halen, Kansas. Among the musical artists or groups featured. And we mentioned the flag. This is the 50th anniversary of a great play in Major League Baseball having nothing to do with balls, catches, throws, hits. Rick Monday, Dodger Stadium, scooping up 2 fans right onto the field. More on that later as the first pitch to Kelvin Paulino Jr. is foul out of play, 0-1. Rick Monday, the center fielder for the Chicago Cubs that Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles, saw 2 fans run on the field and they brought a flag out, U.S. flag with them. They started to light it on fire, and he ran over from center field and scooped it up.
Remember seeing that. So the archive footage of that.
And today is the 50th anniversary. Major League Baseball did a solid. They had the Cubs in Los Angeles. Rick Monday broadcasts the games for the Dodgers now. He played for the Cubs that day, but that play will be forever remembered. Pitch is lifted to the left field, playable though for Tokheim at the edge of the warning track. Makes the catch as Paulino gave it a ride for Florida State, but it is a long fly out to left and the first out of this 8th inning. So Rick Monday feated in Los Angeles today that that flag is going to be donated to the Baseball Hall of Fame this summer.
Really nice.
50th
Very
anniversary.
Nice.
That was a bicentennial year that year. Now we're at the 250th anniversary of the United States, to be celebrated on July 4th, of course. Thomas's pitch to Stutzer is fouled out of play to the right side. Stutzer had that great defensive play in the top of the 7th inning, leaping to take away a 3-run home run away from Eric Gian.
It was almost criminal what Stutzer did to Eric Gian, the way he leaped up at the wall to rob him of the possible home run that could have given Stanford the lead, but Stanford's going to have to fight a little bit harder to get another one over against the number 8 team in the country.
Cassius Thomas ahead 0-2 to Stutzer. Breaking ball is bounced right back to Thomas. Gathers, throws to first in time for out number 2. So Cassius Thomas, who came on at the beginning of last inning, has turned in a creditable performance. He's allowed just the 1 run in the top of the 7th inning, and he's facing a nobody on 2-out situation here, and we'll see what Florida State does. There's going to be a meeting now as the scheduled hitter is Cal Fisher, the Seminole third baseman, who is 0 for 3. Bounce out to the catcher. Bounce out, ground check swing really. Ball bouncing in front of the plate off his bat, and he was thrown out at first. Popped out to second his second time up and fouled out to first his third time up. Light hitting third baseman, relatively speaking, compared to his prior years at Florida State. 243 the average after hitting 303 a year ago. Thomas's first pitch to him, fastball up. Stanford outfield fairly straight away for Fisher. The center fielder, McDonald, about 5 steps toward the left side of straightaway center field. Pitch from Thomas, fastball up and away, and the count 2-0.
Well, Thomas going to work around the strike zone here. Don't want to leave anything too nice and sweet for Fisher to try to drive.
Fisher, 2 home runs on the season. 2-0 pitch, fastball on the inside corner from Thomas, and the count 2-1. Florida State, an NCAA tournament baseball team, 46 of the past 47 seasons. Pitch is hit to center field and deep. Back goes McDonald. He's at the track now, squares up, and on the track makes the catch for out number 3. So Fisher gave it a ride. About 395 feet, but it's 400 to straightaway center field here at Sunken Diamond, and that will do it for Florida State here in the top of the 8th inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Noles as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning with our score remaining. Florida State 7, Stanford 7 on ACC Network Extra. A series here at Sunken Diamond against a highly ranked team. For Stanford in the bottom of the 8th, they'll have the numbers 6, 7, and 8 hitters. And that means Charlie Bates, Brady Reynolds, and Jimmy Natai, the scheduled hitters for the Cardinal. John Abraham in for his 4th inning of work. The closer for the Seminoles deals outside to Bates. For ball 1, Bates is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 2nd, flied out to right in the 4th, and bounced to 2nd his last time up. Abraham's pitch swung on and missed off speed, and Bates was out in front of it.
One thing to note, John, last time Stanford had a top 25 series sweep, it was in 2023 against number 20 Arizona State.
And Stanford was still in the Pac-12, and so was Arizona State. Abraham's 1-1 pitch is away. Count of 2-1. 2023 is the only season since the late 1970s that Florida State did not make the College World Series. They've been that consistent a postseason team. It's why they are among the top pedigreed programs in college baseball. As the 2-1 from Abraham finds the inside corner. Seminoles under the Hall of Fame coach Mike Martin, coached Florida State for 3 decades. Or number 11, of course. Swung on and missed on 2-2 as Abraham using that experience, Phillip, and another off-speed pitch to have Bates out in front.
Well, Abraham's looking to have a much cleaner inning after he gave up the 1 run that gave Stanford the tie back. But Abraham, he's, getting let loose here by Link Jarrett. And, Link Jarrett's hoping that he doesn't crack under pressure in a tight ball game like this one.
Brady Reynolds having a terrific afternoon. Homered in the 2nd, doubled his next time up as he swings through an Abraham breaking ball and count 0-1. 2-run homer for Reynolds in the 2nd inning. Doubled and scored in the 4th, struck out his last time up. That was against Abraham. That's why Abraham's out there, trying to keep Stanford off the scoreboard. Pitch swung on and missed, strike 2. Abraham, a mid-season All-American. That's projected. There's no such thing as an actual honor, but he's been that good. 0.78 earned run average coming into the game, and 5 saves for the Noles. Pitch is outside to Reynolds on 0-2. It's 1-2. Teams will go at it tomorrow. 1:05 first pitch. where Stanford goes out on the road to Notre Dame next weekend. 1-2 pitch. Reynolds just did get a piece of it, bounced it foul over toward the on-deck circle along the first base side. Seminoles return home next week to host the Pitt Panthers. John Abraham's pitch, 1-2, is bounced to second on 3 hops, fielded there by the replacement second baseman McCulley, Carter McCulley, and he throws out. Reynolds for the second out of the bottom of the 8th inning. Carter McCulley, 6'5" sophomore from Pensacola, inserted into the field of play just at the top of this inning, and he gets his glove, or his feet wet, so to speak, and his glove active. Hitter for Stanford is Jimmy Natai in this 7-7 tie. Breaking ball from Abraham, missed inside. That's a dangerous pitch to Natai. You hang that breaking ball, and Natai may deposit it over the wall. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, 7-7 tie. Each team with 7 hits, each team with 2 errors. 1-0 pitch swung on and missed as Natai can't time that breaking ball well enough.
Abraham's been going more for that. Breaking ball has caught the Stanford hitters off balance. Nolan's still waiting on deck if he does hit.
1-1 pitch from Abraham. Curveball stayed up. Natai did not offer at it. And the count 2-1. Jimmy Natai, of course, team high 16 home runs a year ago, 8 home runs his sophomore year, has 6 this year. So he's got the power to put Stanford up with 1 swing. The 2-1, bounce foul, past the third base coaching box. Two and 2 the count, 2 outs. Outfield very deep. They want to prevent an extra base hit here, obviously, with nobody on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Abraham kicks and deals. Foul back to the screen. Natai just did get a piece of it. Count stays at 2-2. This game is 2 hours and 51 minutes old. Of course, pitch count in college baseball now has shortened game times. Abraham with the 2-2. Check swing, it stayed low, and count is full now to the senior Jimmy Natai for Stanford.
Experience starting to show. Good battle at the plate for the man from Australia. He's able to get on. It could open the door for the freshman Nolan Stoll due to hit.
Yeah. Man from down under, as they say. Men at Work was his walk-up song for a couple of years there. Full count pitch is hit to left field, but it got it off the end of the bat. Medium deep left field. Stutzer is under it and makes the catch. And that's it for Stanford in the bottom of the 8th inning. For Stanford, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We'll go to the top of the 9th inning and bring back Philip Hall with our score remaining. Florida State 7, Stanford 7 on ACC Network Extra. To the 9th inning at an overcast Sunken Diamond, but there's been warmth on the field. A lot of action and a tight one here for a second consecutive day. as I turn it over to Philip Hall. Philip, Stanford has Cassius Thomas, who's been pitching well. The fifth Stanford pitcher still out there, and they've got Trevor Moore at their deployment whenever they want to use as the Stanford senior, who has assumed the closer's role and is one very hot relief pitcher for Stanford. But for right now, it's Cassius Thomas.
Absolutely. At times, he's been looking pretty good. Just 2 innings pitched, only 1 run and 1 hit earned. It was the 1 run that gave Florida State the lead, but Stanford were able to tie it back. But now in the 9th inning, this is a huge spot for the upperclassman from L.A. All right, Eli Putnam is going to come up. It'll be him, Chase Williams, and Brody De La Melier due up for the Seminoles here in the top of the 9th. Florida State trying to avoid a series loss, trying to set it up for a possible rubber match tomorrow, but Stanford trying to do the opposite.
Let's go Noles chant. About 24 fans over by the Florida State dugout, left side.
Strike 1 in to Putnam, who's 1 for 3 on the game. He hit a double in the 5th. He's got 7 home runs on the year, so he could put a charge in the one at any moment. It's a hard on the ground, but Gian playing the shift. Gets the throw across, 1 away.
Not the easiest play in the world. That ball was well struck by Putnam. And the infield dirt has been chopped up, so the possibility of a bad hop presents itself. But Gian was right on that one with a slight backhand and a true throw to first from the left side of second base and fairly deep on the shortstop side.
Now it's Chase Williams' turn. 2 hits on the ball game, along with an RBI and stolen base. Thomas starts him off with strike 1.
Moran is about 10 feet in on the grass, anticipating a bunt. Williams may try to drag one, though. Sasaki playing even with the bag at first.
Hard swing, but Williams fouls it. Thomas ahead 0-2.
And Thomas walking back to the dugout. Some sort of equipment issue or maybe a bat issue.
Yeah, Williams, he might just be putting some pine tar on the bat there.
I guess you're going to use your timeout. Might as well make the most of it.
Again, this is really a situation for him to be the speed threat to get on the base pass for the Noles, just knowing that, hey, I got the guy behind me that's already had a big hit in this game. Let me just do my job here and provide him with a chance.
One of 2 Noles with multiple hits on the day. So does the next hitter, De La Melier. They each have 2.
0-2 from Thomas. This low, good stop by Stoll.
But the infield really deep for Thomas. If he gets jammed and hits a slow roller on the grass someplace, he's going to leg it out.
Big swing, but another foul ball. Also, you got to watch out for the gaps, too, because Williams does possess some gap power at the plate.
And he can fly. The right fielder, Reynolds, is shaded over toward right center for the left-hand hitting Williams. Interesting.
Thomas kicks and delivers the 1-2. Foul tipped into the glove for strike 3. Thomas with the big K to retire Williams. 2 gone. That brings up Brody De La Melier, who has been having an interesting day here at Sunken Diamond. Committed an error in the field, but has been able to come back with a 2 RBI day with a double and a single. Hits it hard. Dion with the dive and the catch. Eric Dion trying to play hero for the Cardinal.
And he did. Boy, oh boy. He didn't. Sometimes, Philip, you can jump too quickly, but he was able to size that one up and then dive at the last possible minute and rob DeLaMalera what would have been his third hit of the afternoon.
A huge play to take us to the bottom of the ninth. Stanford trying to go for the win. They'll have Stoll, McDonald, and Gian due up. Well, here we are, folks. The bottom of the ninth in a 7-7 tie. Stanford trying to go for the series win against number 8 Florida State. As for the Seminoles, they'll make a call to the pen as John Abraham will leave the ball game, as it's going to be Brody Purcell to come on to keep this a tie ball game and try to send it to extras. Brody Purcell on the season has a .584 ERA and 13 games out the pen, 24 2/3 innings of work, as he's got the tall task to take this game into extra innings, as he is a California native himself, a transfer from USC out of Aliso Viejo, California. He's going to see Nolan Stoll, the freshman catcher, will lead off the bottom of the ninth. Acts early, but swing and a miss for strike one.
Purcell from J. Sarah Catholic High School in Southern Orange County, part of a CIF championship team 3 years ago.
Taken low for ball one. Nolan Stoll came into substitution after Luke Lavin was pitch ran for. Stoll still without that home run in his collegiate career, but he's hitting .269 at the plate. Checks his swing. They say no. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Two one up in the zone for ball 3. Court McDonald on deck. Oh, big rip by Stoll, but fouls it straight back. Count now full. Stoll also has 4 doubles hit on the season. He's driven in 3 RBIs. They'll win the duel to work the leadoff walk. Winning run now on base for the Cardinal.
Now that's exactly what Stanford wanted one way or another, and you get your backup catcher able to work the walk.
So it's going to be Court McDonald, the senior from Arlington, Texas, with a chance. Florida State going to call for a mound visit here.
Micah Posey, the pitching coach, out to see if he can settle down. Purcell.
And if he were to be given the chance, Eric Gian, who's now on deck, was robbed of a go-ahead 3-run home run by John Stutzer in left field, and I'm sure, John, he is itching to get to the plate, try to see if he can win it for the Cardinal.
Well, after making a terrific defensive play in the top of this ninth inning, but, you know, again, I'd be surprised if Colt McDonald, the hitter here, is not sacrificing or attempting to sacrifice, because then you've got your best three hitters if you're Stanford. Number 2 hole hitter, Eric Gion, then Rintaro Sasaki, then Teddy Tokheim. I mean, it's really set up for Stanford if Stanford can, for instance, get that lead runner at first over to second.
It's Court McDonald. He's going to put the bunt down. It should be enough for Stoll to advance. It will be. Sack bunt works well for Stanford, so Stoll now in scoring position with Eric Gion now at the plate. And if you were with us in the 7th inning, you know that Gion was robbed of a 3-run go-ahead homer that could have gave Stanford a lead by John Stutzer in left field. Gion made a defensive play in the field in his own right, catching a line drive out to close the top of the ninth, but now he's in a spot to try to win it for Stanford. The first pitch. Lays off, misses for ball 1.
Purcell is more of a deception pitcher with changing speeds and high angles at the plate. Doesn't have overpowering stuff.
Purcell's 1-0 pitch. Fly ball hit down the right field line, and it's going to go just foul. Eli Malier tried to make a run for it, but couldn't get there in time. The 1-1 pitch coming up to Gion. One's popped up on the first base side. And it's going to be caught by McCauley. He calls off Putnam, 2 away.
That's a great pitch by Brody Purcell. In on the hands to Gion, who usually able to get the bat head around. He's got an open stance, but that time the Purcell pitch was just too good. Forced a jam shot pop-up to the second baseman, McCauley.
Well, here comes Stanford's biggest threat. The sophomore slugger from Japan, Rintaro Sasaki, who was 0 for 4 last night. Today he's 1 for 4 at the plate with a single. Also a run scored. And an RBI on a ground out the last time up in the 7th. That was the RBI that helped Stanford tie the game.
Interesting, with a runner at second and 2 outs now. It's really not an issue, or is it? As the pitching coach, Michael Posey, walks out to the mound, what I was getting to, Philip, is do you walk Sasaki to get to Tokheim? Or do you say, no, we'll try to get Sasaki as the easier guy to get out? Sasaki hits from the left side against the right-handed pitcher, but Tokheim is hitting, 370 plus.
Yeah, well, it begs the question, who do you want to face? Who do you have more guts to go up against? Is that Sasaki or the big freshman slugger in Teddy Tokheim? We'll find out in just a bit, as Florida State making the call to the pin, and looks like they're going to bring out a lefty, so they might set this up for a lefty-on-lefty matchup against Rintaro Sasaki. We're going to take a break and give you the rundown of the new arm coming in to try to send this game to extras. So the new arm coming in for Florida State to take on Rentaro Sasaki. It's going to be the big lefty, Peyton Mainka. 6'6", 256, sophomore from Winchendon, Massachusetts. So he could get the fastball up to the mid-90s, out on the rubber. Coming in a big spot where Stanford have the winning run and Nolan Stoll at second base. Rentaro Sasaki is due to hit with Teddy Tokheim on deck with 2 outs here in the bottom of the ninth, with Stanford trying to go for the series win and trying to go for their first top 25 series win since 2023 when they swept the Arizona State Sun Devils, who were number 20 in the country at the time.
Fourth for Florida State pitcher on the afternoon. Stanford has used 5, but lefty on lefty, and it's a sumo matchup, if you will.
Power on power. Sasaki stands at 6'1", 270. High fly ball to left field, and it's going to be caught by Stutzer to end the inning. So Stanford not able to get it done in the ninth. That takes us to extra innings. Free baseball here at Sunken Diamond. 7-7 still tied here on the ACC Network Extra. So we're here in the 10th inning at Sunken Diamond, still in a 7-7 ball game. Stanford weren't able to get it done as Rentaro Sasaki popped out with the winning run at second base on the first pitch. Get us to extras as going to throw it back to John Plass to take us through the 10th inning.
Stanford brings in its 6th pitcher of the afternoon. It's the freshman Mike Erspamer out of San Clemente High School in San Clemente down in Southern California. Erspamer, 6', 212-pounder left-hander. Erspamer's numbers on the season: this is his 19th appearance, all in relief. He's worked 19 2/3 innings, walked 16, struck out 24, earned an average of 5.95, one-loss record of 0-2. But Philip, he's another of those young men that pitched last night and pitched a flawless 7th inning as part of Stanford's 4-3 win, called upon back-to-back days. For a freshman, that can be challenging.
Yeah, and, you know, for the Stanford bullpen, they've held their own in this series so far. And now, like, the ante is getting upped in this extra inning game. So it's really going to have to come down to what the bullpen can do in these late games.
The hitters for the Seminoles, 3, 4, 5 in the order: Carnes, Schmela, and Frazier. And Erspamer asked to keep Florida State at 7 runs. The left-hander to wind up, pitch on the way, swung on and missed. Fastball got past Carnes, who is 1 for 3, double, RBI double in the second, a couple of strikeouts, walked his last time up and scored the tying run in the game. He lines one foul off the screen above the Florida State dugout. And Erspamer ahead, 0-2. Carnes, 318, the batting average. Swings through an off-speed pitch, and Nussbaumer retires the leadoff man and a dangerous hitter here in the 10th inning for Stanford.
That's the start you want to see if you're David Esker from your reliever. It's been a while since Stanford have played in an extra inning ball game.
Nathan Schmela, the hitter. Nussbaumer deals, fastball high, count of 1-0. Schmela, RBI sacrifice fly in the 3rd inning as part of his 1-for-3 today, doubled his last time up. Breaking ball from Nussbaumer stayed up. Count 2-0. Nussbaumer's next pitch is over for a strike. Backdoor breaking ball. Found the outside corner for the first strike. 2-1 the count. To the right hand hitting Schmela. 278 hitter as he stands at the plate. Fastball, check swing foul. Fielded by the first base coach for Florida State, and he rolls that baseball over to the Stanford dugout. Count now even up at 2-2 by swing. Schmela held up. It was a breaking ball in on his hands, and he stopped his swing just after he started it. 2-2 pitch now from Nussbaumer. Off speed and at the shoes of the hitter. So it's 3-2, 1 out, top of the 10th inning, 7-7 tie, Stanford and Florida State. The payoff pitch, breaking ball just inside. It broke late and it broke too far inside, said the plate umpire David Bailey, so a 1-out walk. And that'll bring Gabe Frazier to the plate, the sophomore shortstop, who is 0-for-3 with a walk. Pair of Orange County high school baseball players facing each other. Nussbaumer out of San Clemente and Frazier from Huntington Beach. And now timeout as Frazier goes over to talk to the third base coach. See if there's communication about signs. Be a bit of an off-script play for Florida State to bunt here with 1 out and a runner at first. If you sacrifice, you get the runner in a scoring position, but that would be the 2nd out of the inning.
Well, you would think it would be the right move to kind of alleviate any chance of a possible double play to be turned.
There's that. Nussbaumer from the stretch at the belt. First pitch to Frazier, breaking ball low. 1-0. Frazier, 311 hitter, but not a lot of at-bats for this transfer from Arkansas. 61 at-bats on the season. Nussbaumer's breaking ball way outside. And it's 2-0. Stanford is on its 6th pitcher. They used 5 yesterday. So there are arms in the bullpen, but not experienced arms. And nobody's warming up currently. This is Nussbaumer's inning, it would seem. 2-0 pitch. That would have been ball 3. Frazier swung through that fastball, hit it back to the screen. It would have been inside. And ball 3, but as it is, it's 2-1.
Yeah, tough pitch to chase, but Nussbaumer's lucky that he put a swing on it.
2-1 the count, 1 out, runner at first. Top of the 10th, 7-7 game. There's the pitch, foul back to the screen. And Nussbaumer, the pitcher, has gotten even with the hitter. 2-2 the count. Each team with 7 runs, each team with 7 hits, each team with 2 errors. In this 21st ever meeting between Stanford and Florida State, first time as ACC foes. I'll throw over to first, token toss, and the runner not running on the play. Indeed, the lead for Smela, the catcher, was about a 2-step lead, so now lead a little bit bigger now, a 3-step lead, I guess you'd call it. 2-2 the count to the hitter. And here's the pitch. Breaking ball outside.
And just looking across the country at other extra inning games, like in the MAAC, Quinnipiac beat Mount St. Mary's 4-3 in 10.
There's going to be an extra inning game somewhere in the college ranks today. That's a D1 matchup. 3-2 pitch. Curveball got him looking. Just a perfect breaking ball from the left-handed throwing Erspamer, the freshman, to the sophomore Gabe Frazier. That is a big second out for Florida State here in the top of the 10th inning. Second strikeout of the inning recorded by Erspamer, and that'll bring up a pinch hitter. The scheduled hitter was Carter McCulley, but he will not hit. It'll be Noah Sheffield.
Who is the son of
Gary Sheffield, the former major leaguer. Noah Sheffield hitting .262, and now a meeting at the mound as pitching coach Thomas Eager is going to, I think, give some intel to the pitcher Erspamer about Noah Sheffield. And yes, he is the son of the great Gary Sheffield, longtime major leaguer with the Padres and Florida Marlins.
The Yankees.
And the Yankees. This year, the sophomore Noah Sheffield is hitting .262. He's got 3 home runs and 27 RBI. But a young man who decided to go to Florida State after a terrific pre-college career. He's started 24 games this year for Florida State, 24 of the 41 previous games. This is his 34th game that he's appeared in. 6'1", 200-plus pounder. And he's going to try and keep this inning alive for Florida State. Erspamer at the belt, looks over at first base. Curveball to Sheffield is inside, and the count 1-0. Noah Sheffield, like his father.
Yeah, the bat wiggle at the plate.
The signature bat wiggle with the elbows high. Erspamer comes back 1-0, and that one was high. That was another breaking ball, and the count 2-0. Sheffield, you mentioned the 3 home runs, 9 doubles. Hitting in, standing in from the right side. 2-0 pitch, curveball that was outside as Erspamer has lost the strike zone to this hitter with the breaking stuff.
I think also Erspamer too, those first 2 pitches, he tried to go inside, and with Sheffield with the bat wiggle, like his daddy, it's it's going to be a timing thing for him, and just going to be curious to see what his bat speed looks like if he could get around it.
Probably taking all the way 3-0. Pitch, fastball up and away, and on 4 pitches, Noah Sheffield will go to first base. He's a second baseman, so he will likely be playing second base in the bottom of this inning, but Florida State hoping that circumstance will be with Florida State in the lead. We're tied at 7, top of the 10th, 2 out, now 2 on for Florida State. Smela, the runner, at second base. Sheffield at first. The hitter is John Stutzer, the left fielder, who is 0 for 4. Curveball bounced foul past the third base coaching box, and the count 0-1.
Well, Stutzer may be 0 for 4, but he's had the biggest play in the game today.
Yep, robbed Eric Gian of a 3-run home run by leaping over the wall in left field with the glove about 2 feet above the top of the wall to bring that one back, as they say. Trying to put Florida State here in the lead, top of the 10th inning. The 0-1 pitch from Mike Erspamer. Fastball ran outside, and Erspamer, a bit of a wild streak here. He came on to begin this 10th inning. He's struck out a couple and walked a couple. 5th batter of the inning is the hitter at the plate, Stutzer, the freshman. Right-handed hitter. Curveball, he checked his swing, held up. Wanted to offer at it, held up, and it's stayed inside, so the count 2-1. So this is interesting. I doubt Erspamer, with the breaking ball having sort of betrayed him a bit, probably going to come in with hard stuff. And Stutzer probably knows that. 2-1 pitch, fastball swung on and missed. As Erspamer challenged Stutzer, and Stutzer swung through that fastball, and the count now 2-2.
Right over the plate, Stutzer just couldn't get around on it. Erspamer trying to go for the punch-out pitch.
He's got a pitch to work with, 2-2. Runners at first and second. They've got their leads. And the 2-2 pitch is high, and Erspamer's gone all the way now to John Stutzer. The runners will be off with the pitch, so that means that if there is a base hit to the outfield, that run from second, albeit the catcher at second base, Schmela, he'll probably score because he's going to be off on the windup. Here comes the payoff, 3-2. Swung on and missed, strike three, as Erspamer strikes out Stutzer and strikes out the side in the top of the 10th. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 left on base for the Seminoles in the top of the 10th. Stanford with a chance to win it now in the bottom of the 10th inning. Come back for the top of the 10th inning here on ACC Network Extra. Bottom of the 10th inning at Sunken Diamond in a great one. Florida State 7, Stanford 7. Mike Erspamer strikes out the side in the top of the 10th. The freshman left-hander, after walking, though, 2 during that inning. And so the Cardinal will try and win it now in the bottom of the 10th. They'll have the middle of the order, Will Stanford. Teddy Tokheim, J.J. Moran, and Charlie Bates, the scheduled hitters. And Peyton Manka, the left-hander, the big young man, is out for his second inning of work. Actually, he came on for one batter in the top of the 9th inning and retired the one hitter, which was Rintaro Sasaki. So this will be the second batter that Manka has faced. Manka, 6'6", 255-pound redshirt sophomore from Winchendon, Massachusetts. He has a 4.76 earned run average. This is just his 4th appearance of the season. And he's worked just 6 innings, including the at-bat that Sasaki had against him in the the bottom of the 9th inning. Well, we're in the bottom of the 10th now. Teddy Tokheim, the leadoff hitter, Stanford's leading RBI guy, has homered in this game, his 11th of the season. Manka's first pitch to him is a fastball over for a strike. Manka not a plus fastball, but 90 miles an hour on that pitch. The left-hander working quickly. Curveball low and away, and the count 1-1. Tokheim hitting .377 as he stands up there at the plate. Homered in the second inning. It was a 2-run shot. 1 for 3 officially on the afternoon. Fastball caught the outside corner. Tokheim not in agreement with that one, and the count 1-2. So Manka with a chance to retire, Stanford's leadoff hitter in the bottom of the 10th inning. The 1-2. Fastball would have been ball 2. Instead, it's hit foul over the trees along the right side and into the parking lot. Hopefully not making contact with any vehicles parked there. Each team with 7 hits, each team with 2 errors, each team with 7 runs. Next pitch to Tokheim, fastball just above the letters for ball 2.
And got away with that one there, but Tokheim showing great patience at the plate here.
Tokheim with 49 hits this season, and 24 have been for extra bases. He lifts it into right center field, playable for the right fielder, Delamolier, and Delamolier makes the catch for out number 1. So Peyton Manka does his job for Florida State, at least through one hitter, as he retires the dangerous Teddy Tokheim, and that'll bring up J.J. Moran, the Stanford third baseman, the number 5 hitter in the order, who is 0 for 4 this afternoon. A couple of strikeouts among the 4 times he has been retired. Micah's first pitch to him is cued foul off the end of the bat, back to the backstop, and the count 0-1.
Moran with that tendency to swing at the first pitch. You know, he likes to jump on early, but in a game like this, you have to look at a few. You know, that's what bit over Charles Sasaki in the Heine. You know, when Peyton Manka came out to get him out.
Peyton Manka's fastball is over for a strike, and the count quickly 0-2 to J.J. Moran. Moran with 7 career home runs, 1 last year, 6 this season, in case you're wondering. Pitch on 0-2 is fouled out of play along the right side into the plaza area. Outfield very deep for J.J. Moran, straight away. No shift for the Stanford sophomore third baseman, hitting from the right side. 0-2 pitch, fastball was high, about shoulder level on that one, and the count 1-2.
90 miles per hour flat from out of the hands of Manka. That was a straight fastball.
Yeah, he does not blow you away with velocity, but big man on the hill there. 1-2, ground ball into the hole at short, backhanded by Frazier, and he shows off that gun to first, and it's in plenty of time to retire J.J. Moran. 2 out, nobody on for the Cardinal in the bottom of the 10th inning, and that'll bring up Charlie Bates, the Stanford shortstop, who is 1 for 4. Bates with home run power from the left side, although he's facing a left-handed pitcher, so that may mitigate the power opportunity. He does have 8 home runs on the season, does Bates, the sophomore from the left side. Breaking ball dipped low. Count of 1-0. The wind, it's a bit of, really a breeze. It blowing, looks like it's blowing from the right field foul pole to the left, but off and on. Breaking ball, he went around, says the plate umpire, David Bailey. Charlie Bates swinging unsuccessfully on that one. Count 1-1. Stanford does have action in the bullpen. Manka's 1-1. Fastball just missed the outside corner, and the count 2-1 to Charlie Bates, the pride of Palo Alto High School, right across the street. In fact, the baseball diamond, as the crow flies, is about a half a mile from here. 2-1 pitch from Manka, stayed outside, and Bates 1 pitch away from becoming a Stanford game-winning base runner.
And they'll open up the door for Brady Reynolds as well.
Another left-handed hitter. Wonder if Esker thinks about pitch hitter. I doubt that he would. Reynolds has had such a good game, and that pitch is ball 4. The curveball from Manka missed. And Brady Reynolds will indeed stride to the plate. Reynolds has a 2-run home run today, hit it in the 2nd inning, was the first runs scored by either team in the game. Doubled and scored in the 4th, struck out in the 6th, bounced to 2nd in the 8th. So Brady Reynolds, who has 14 career home runs, including 4 this season, takes the first pitch from Manka, and that one missed outside, so all of a sudden Peyton Manka has been outside with successive pitches to back-to-back Stanford left-handed hitting hitters. 1-1 or 1-0, 0-1 or 1-0 pitch now becomes 1-1. That fastball did find the outer half of the plate. Charlie Bates has speed at first. 6 of 9 in stolen bases, but it's a left-hander on the mound. Swung on and missed as Reynolds late on that fastball from Manka. That was another 90-mile-an-hour. He's pretty reliable with that 90-mile-an-hour fastball, doesn't it?
And relaxed as well. You know, able to put it across the zone. You know, Reynolds swinging and missing.
Pitch on the way. That one missed outside. When Manka is missing now, it's away. The count is 2-2 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 10th inning in a 7-7 tie, Stanford and Florida State. Pitch just missed the outside corner. Manka thought he had it.
That was close. Could have gone either way, though. A few have gone away from Manka.
Bates will be running on the delivery. And now a throw to first, and back goes Bates. The outfield knows that. They want to cut off a gapper because Bates has speed. Peyton Manka's 3-2 pitch with the runner going. Swung on and missed, strike 3. As Peyton Manka does the job, retires the Cardinal with just 1 left on base for the Cardinal in the 10th. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. We'll go to the 11th after this break. It remains Florida State 7, Stanford 7 on ACC Network Extra. We've played 10 at Sunken Diamond. Score obviously tied. Florida State 7, Stanford 7. John Platts along with Phillip Hall. Each team with 7 hits, each team with 2 errors, including the 7 runs. As this game goes to the 11th inning, and Stanford proceeds to yet another pitcher. To tell you about him and the 11th inning, we go back to my broadcast partner, Phillip Hall.
All right, thank you, John. We're in the top of the 11th now. Brock Kettleson will come on to pitch for Stanford, so it's going to be a lefty arm. Hoping to do work to keep this a tie game. Brock Kettleson on the season, 25 innings of work with a 6.12 ERA for the freshman from Scotts Valley, California. Small little town in the Santa Cruz Mountains. For Kettleson, it's a big spot for the freshman arm as he's going to see Cal Fisher, who will lead off for Florida State.
7th Stanford pitcher of the afternoon. Stanford has both teams. College, there are many, many pitchers on a roster. Of course, Stanford still has Trevor Moore to deploy, the uber hot Stanford reliever.
That's right. He retired all 6 hitters he faced to get the save last night. It was his 3rd save on the season.
And it's interesting, Phillip, that Coach Esker not wanting to deploy him yet. I guess he maybe went 2 innings, maybe save him for either a sweep chance or a chance to win a series tomorrow. Stanford also has Quentin Marsh available, though. Among other pitchers, Ben Reimers has not been used. Austin Steves.
Even you can give David Weiser a chance as well. So Cal Fisher stepping in. We're going to look at ball 1. Fisher is 0 for 4 on the game. Kelson puts it in for a strike. Not going to light up any here with the fastball. Ranges in the low 90s, but is efficient, however. Can work around the plate. 1-1, swung on and miss. Pitch in the dirt.
Kettleson, 6'4", gives you a lot of arms and legs. He's a very slender freshman. Long-armed, and it just adds to the disruption that the hitter faces.
The 1-2 pitch. Bounced in front of the plate that time. Goes even at 2-2. Kelson tried to put him away, but the strike zone is just getting smaller. Full count now for Fisher. Payoff from Kelson. Oh, just outside. Works the leadoff walk.
Of course, that's the goal of any team in extra innings, get that leadoff man aboard. Putnam, the number 9 hitter, and the question is posed, will Putnam be sacrificing here? Fisher, not really a stolen base guy, just 1 steal this year and 1 attempt.
Putnam does have a double in the game. Could be a chance for a double play if Kettleson could get it on the ground. There's a wide gap in between the shortstop and the second baseman. Does try to bunt there, but goes foul.
Putnam, 7 home runs on the season. Last 2 years at Davidson combined 35 home runs. So it's an interesting decision to have him bunt, but it's a game that Florida State really wants, trying to maintain that number 8 national ranking and not drop a second consecutive game to Stanford. But he was bunting.
See if he tries for it again here. 0-1. And that one's going to roll just right at the baseline. Now 2 strikes on Putnam, so I don't think he has any other choice but to swing.
But Kettleson, as a freshman, not with tremendous experience, you don't want to hang a breaking ball 0-2 to this guy.
Yeah, Putnam can drive it out of here if given the chance.
35 home runs the last 2 previous seasons at Davidson College. That's where he played his prior seasons of college baseball. Big young man.
The 0-2 pitch. Putnam was ready to swing, but lays off in the dirt. Now Stanford's going to put the shift on. Gian playing now at the middle. 1-2 just outside. Goes to 2-2 now. Kelson trying to look for a put-away pitch. 2-2. Fly ball held to shallow center, but Gian is there, so he'll play it. Put him out via the pop out to second.
Good pitch by Kettleson. I don't think he quite has the confidence necessarily to throw a breaking pitch with 2 strikes and a count, a 2-2 situation there, but that fastball was located well up and away. Borderline strike, and Putnam had to offer at it and just didn't really have the lower body behind that swing.
Chase Williams is back hitting to the, or on the right side of the plate. He's a switch hitter.
Threat to bunt.
It looks like he's swinging away. Takes ball 1. Chase Williams is 2 for 5 on the day. 2 singles with an RBI. Well, was also 2 stolen bases. Pops up the 1-0 pitch. Stoll tosses the mask, and he'll make the play. And Williams is frustrated with 2 gone.
You know, it's interesting that a young man with that speed, that degree of speed, or that plus speed would not be hitting down on the ball, or even trying the bunt. I just think his speed is so superior that if he bunts it just an average bunt, he beats it out.
Oh, it's going to be up to Brody De La Melier, see if he can try to move over Fisher with 2 away. Takes strike 1 on the breaking ball from Kettleson. Freshman lefty trying to get Stanford back up to the plate for the bottom of the 11th. 0-1 in the air, out to left center field. McDonald ranges over. He'll make the catch to end the inning. So we're going to try it again. Stanford going to come up to the plate for the bottom of the 11th, still in the 7-7 tie. The bottom of the 11th now, as Jimmy Natai will lead off for Stanford. The change on the mound for Florida State is going to be Cole Stokes to come out, try to keep this a tie ball game and send it to the 12th. Cole Stokes, the 6'6", 229 junior from Redondo Beach, California. Another California kid transferred by way of Oregon, where he began his collegiate career. He's going to come out, try to sit Stanford down, get Florida State back to the plate.
Yeah, 6'6", 230-pounder Cole Stokes. So all 3 Californians, all 3 Californians on the Florida State roster have seen action in this game.
So it's going to be Natai, Stoll, and McDonald due up here in the bottom of the 11th. Stanford with another chance to try to win it in extras. Natai's going to look at strike 1 to begin the inning.
And that's a tough look from Cole Stokes against 6'6", cross-body delivery, and that's 94 miles an hour, Philip, on that first pitch to Natai, fastball.
A swing there, but popped it up on the right side of the infield. Punt him there to retire Natai.
And that fastball just ate up Natai. So cross-body delivery, tailing fastball into a right-handed hitter, and that was a pretty easy retirement of a potentially dangerous leadoff hitter for the Cardinal here in the bottom of the 11th.
For sure, Natai does possess some power, but wasn't able to use it there. And now here comes Nolan Stoll, freshman catcher, still homerless on the season. So we'll look at ball 1.
That was a breaking ball, but again, this is a wicked delivery.
Stoll walked in the ninth inning in his lone plate appearance on the game. Pitch runs inside, but it goes in for a ball. Stoll came in on defense for Luke Lavin.
Stokes last year for Oregon appeared in 24 games, 1-2 record, 2 saves, an ERA of 3.10. Struck out 39 in 20 and a third innings.
2-0 pitch on the way. Stoll takes it for strike one. Good pitch there by Stokes.
You know, his delivery is sufficiently problematic. I just think all he needs to throw is fastballs here.
Try to do too much with that one. Count now at 3-1.
And he lost his balance a little bit after that delivery, or maybe just jumped up in frustration.
Yeah, threw the fastball 96, but couldn't locate it.
That's 96 coming from behind your ear if you're a right-handed hitter.
Stoll rolls over it, and it's a good one, but it's going to be enough for Stoll to leg out the infield single. As Will Bavaro at third wasn't able to run in time to grasp it to make a play.
Well, it was a great pitch by Stokes, and Stoll didn't have much lower body on that one. He kind of, like you said, kind of topped it. But fortunately for Stoll, it went about 10 feet fair and about 50 feet from home plate. And with a third baseman playing about 5 steps behind the bag, anybody could have beaten that one out.
Corey McDonald comes up one away. Like he might be trying to swing away here. David Esker is going to give him the green light. Big gaps out to right center and left center. McDonald hits it hard into right field. Stoll's going to have to get on his horse. He rounds second. McDowell will round first. He'll slide in at second. Stoll goes to third. And Stanford now with the winning run just 90 feet away.
Well, great job by McDonald getting the bat head around on that one. And it was a heady play by the right fielder, Delamalier, to get over to that one quickly.
And what a chance for Eric Gian, who will be due to hit. Before he does, we're going to get a mound visit here. Micah Posey coming out to have a conversation with Stokes.
There's action in the Florida State bullpen where you and I are screened out for the moment. Stokes, tough delivery, plus velocity on the fastball. So this is a strategy conversation. This isn't to make a change, I do not believe. Plate umpire now walking out to the mound to try and delay things, probably giving a scouting report for Stokes.
It was only going to take one swing for Eric Gian to send Stanford home happy and get the series win today against number 8 Florida State. Eric Gian, who's had himself a day mainly in the field, but he's trying to get some restitution for what John Stutzer did to him a few innings ago in the 7th when he was robbed of a go-ahead 3-run home run that could have given Stanford a lead and probably would have had us gone home by now. But here he is now in the bottom of the 11th with a chance to win it. Infield in for Florida State. Swing and a miss on the first pitch from Stokes.
That was a breaking ball that was a foot outside, and Gian swung at it. He was fooled. I mean, again, this pitcher is effective if he can get it over. He's a tough pitcher.
0-1 laid off just outside. Everybody's playing in outfield and infield for the Seminoles.
Left fielder Stutzer is more medium depth, but he better come in on a fly ball.
1-1 pitch. Gian looks at ball 2. It feels like the field just gets smaller with how tight of a play this could be.
Some teams use a fifth infielder. Not in this situation, though.
2-1 from Stokes. That one's in for strike 2.
And Gian couldn't do anything with it. I mean, again, 6'6", cross-body, a breaking ball that you can get over for the plate, and a heater that goes 95+ at times.
Gian does have quick bat speed and may shorten up the swing here. 2-2 pitch. Oh, he sends a shot out to left field. Stutzer will look up, and that one's going to be off the wall. Stoll scores, and Stanford wins it in the bottom of the 11th. Eric Gian is the hero.
Stanford assures itself of a series win against this top 10 ranked Florida State team, and Stanford gets its overall season record, Philip, over 500. Cardinal now 20-19 as Eric Gian, once again, we saw big plays in the field today from him. We saw him robbed of a 3-run home run by a left fielder leaping over the fence. Well, that one went off the wall, and all he needed was a single there with the winning run just 90 feet away, and Eric Gian's a hero. Stanford 2 up on the Noles.
And guess where he hit it? He hit it in the direction where he was robbed of what could have possibly been the game-winning home run back in the 7th inning. But Gian able to get redemption with a walk-off base hit to left field to give Stanford the 8-7 win. And what was a thriller here at Sunken Diamond today. And with the win, Stanford get back over 500 overall and get their first top 25 series win since they swept Arizona State, who was number 20 back in 2023. But what a game and what a battle, as both of these teams will run it back tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Well, shout out both teams. Again, the relief pitching for both teams in the second half of the game, if you will, or let's just say from the 6th inning on, was superb for both teams. But for Stanford, which has struggled in the pitching department, this is now a 4th consecutive game where the pitching has met the challenge late in games, and Stanford currently on a 4-game winning streak.
Yeah, 4 in a row for the Cardinal, but for Florida State, they lose a heartbreaker, just knowing that they could have had Stanford in their grasp with the multiple chances that they had in this game, as they fall 0-2 in the series, and this one is going to sting for the Seminoles when the top 25 polls come out next week.
Yeah, they're gonna be back in that teens range probably. And again, this is a team that's trying to be among the top 16 to host a regional when the pairings come out, the field of 64, and they still have hopes to be a national seed, top 8 seed, to have that super regional possibility. But those hopes have taken a big hit for the 8th-ranked Noles here this week in Palo Alto, as they've dropped the first 2 of the 3-game set to Stanford by 1 run each game.
Well, we had the 1990 Stanford Cardinal team in attendance, the winningest team in program history, witness a hard-fought win for the Cardinal, and, man, was it a good one for all of the fans in attendance here at Sunken Diamond today.
Well, it was, and again, this is the 3rd time these 2 teams have met on this field, and every one of those games has been decided by 1 run. Florida State won the regional in '96, but these 2, the last 48 hours, have gone to Stanford. 1-run wins each, 4-3 last night, 8-7 in extras today.
Now, Eric Gian, who's been putting up career best since he transferred in from Columbia, gets the game-winning hit in the bottom of the 11th to give Stanford the 8-7 victory. To give you the final line score, Florida State, 7 runs on 7 hits, 2 errors. They leave 7 men on base. Stanford with 8 runs on 10 hits, 2 errors, only leaving 6 men on base. Getting the win was Brock Kettleson coming out to pitch that top half of the 11th. And Cole Stokes gets handed the loss for his 2nd loss on the year, while the freshman Brock Kettleson gets win number 2 in his freshman year here on the farm. But that's going to wrap things up for us here from Sunken Diamond. Thank you again for tuning in with us for today's coverage of Saturday afternoon baseball here on the ACC Network Extra. Eric Gian once again walks it off for the Cardinal to give Stanford their 20th win in 2026 and an 8-7 win over the number 8 team in the nation in the Florida State Seminoles to take down a top 25 this weekend here on the farm. they're going to run it back tomorrow to close out this weekend series, as we will bring you coverage of that here on the ACC Network Extra. To our producing team here at Stanford, here in the press box, we thank everybody for tuning in. Alongside my partner, John Platts, this is Philip Hall on the call saying so long and enjoy the rest of your Saturday from the farm.